Tonight, I want to take you to a place that no scribe ever praised. A place beneath the golden masks and granite monuments. A place where the sun forgets mercy. Where skin splits beneath linen and thirst becomes a second heartbeat. Tonight, I want to take you to ancient Egypt. Not the Egypt of queens and gods, but the Egypt that swallowed the nameless. The Egypt that cracked its paw beneath stone. The Egypt where a single drop of water could mean survival or death. Where are you watching from? What time is it there? Dim the lights. Put your phone down. Let your breath slow down. Let your eyes fall heavy. Let your jaw loosen. Let your thoughts sink. Picture the horizon, not the one you know, but the one painted in dust. A place where the wind never rests. Where pyramids rise in the distance, too far to save you. Where your name has no meaning, and the only truth left is thirst. You're lying on the edge of a straw mat, your face pressed to the dry clay floor. The corner of the room is dark, but the dawn is starting to burn through the cloth doorway. It's early, but already you can feel the heat growing, like a promise pressed against your spine. You don't remember falling asleep. You barely remember waking up. All you know is that your mouth is dry. So dry, your tongue feels like it belongs to someone else. You sit up slowly. The joints in your knees crack with the motion. Your hands tremble as you touch the ground. Somewhere in the hut beside you, someone groans. Maybe it's your brother. Maybe it's the man who slept here last week. You don't turn to look. You don't want to know who's still breathing and who isn't. Not yet. Not today. The smell of sweat already clings to your skin. Not fresh sweat, but the sour, heavy kind that seeps out of the body when there's nothing left to give. You reach beside your mat. Your fingers find the bowl. The one you left out last night, just in case. The overseers had mercy, just in case the gods were watching. Just in case the air itself wept. You lift the bowl to your lips. It's empty. Not even a whisper of moisture left behind. Your mouth doesn't move. What would be the point? You wipe your face with a rough scrap of linen. It doesn't help. The linen is older than your memories. Stiff and cracked with salt. You drape it around your neck like the others do. The ones who still believe the sun can be reasoned with. The ones who still pray. You try to stand, but your legs hesitate. Like even your muscles know what the day holds. You press one palm to the wall for balance. The clay is warm. The heat never left from yesterday. You step out of the hut. The light is already too bright. Not the golden light from old stories. This is a white, punishing glare. The kind that makes you squint even before it touches your skin. You try to breathe through your nose, but the air is thick with dust. It tastes like stone. You cover your mouth with the edge of your cloth. It doesn't help. The wind cuts through. The camp, dry and sharp. It finds the cracks in your skin. It finds the corners of your eyes. It finds you, like it always does. There's movement ahead. Other figures, slowly rising from their mats. Faces hollowed by the same silence. Hands twitching toward water jars that haven't been filled in days. You see the woman with the twisted braid lift her child in both arms. His eyes are closed, his lips cracked. He doesn't cry anymore. You wonder if he even remembers how. You don't speak to anyone. There's no point in wasting moisture on words. You walk toward the edge of the camp where the tools are kept. The same stone sledges, the same worn ropes, the same baskets of sand and copper picks. You pass the water trough on the way. It's dry, A few desperate hands scrape its sides, trying to summon dampness from memory. A guard walks by, holding a clay cup. He drinks slowly, on purpose. You watch a single droplet slide down his chin and fall into the sand. It disappears before it hits the ground. You look away. The sun isn't high yet, but your vision already shimmers. You lift your tool and begin walking toward the quarry. The stones you'll carry today aren't any different than yesterday's. The work won't change. The orders won't change. But something in you has. You can feel it, in the space behind your ribs, in the ache just above your eyes, in the place where the idea of water used to live. You know you won't make it another day, not without water, not without something wet to remind your body it's alive. You keep walking anyway, because there is no choice, there is no shade, there is no God here, only sand and heat and the thirst that never left. You don't remember dreaming, you don't even remember closing your eyes. Sleep here isn't something you fall into. It's something that happens to your body when it finally shuts down. But before the sun even rises, your eyes open. Your lids are sticky with heat. Your mouth is stuck open, tongue curled like dried leather. You hear breathing nearby, slow and shallow. Everyone sleeps with their mouths open now. It's the only way the body remembers how to beg. Your back sticks to the mat. Your ribs press into the floor. The air is already thick, like it's trying to hold you down. You sit up, slowly, carefully. Every joint complains. Your head tilts toward the doorway. The cloth sways slightly, not from wind. There hasn't been wind in 2 days. Just the trembling of your own breath moving through the silence. You touch your fingers to your lips. They come away dry. You check the small bowl beside your sleeping mat, already knowing it's empty. The clay feels warm, as if the night itself was too weak to cool it. You press it to your face anyway, for a second of pretend comfort. You imagine it's wet, just for a heartbeat, just long enough to remember what hope used to feel like. Someone groans behind you. The man in the corner rolls over and coughs, but no sound comes out. You think he was a scribe once, someone who wrote names for the dead. Now he forgets his own. The woman beside him turns toward the wall. Her arm curls around her belly, as if water might grow there. You stand slowly. The room sways, not the earth, just you. Your feet find the dirt floor. You count 5 steps to the door, just like always. The others don't speak. No one does, this early. Words would cost too much. Moisture, energy, memory. You duck beneath the hanging cloth and step outside. The world is still grey, not from clouds. There are no clouds here, but from ash, dust, and the weariness of sky. The sun has not yet risen, but its promise is already heavy in the air. The ground is cracked. Tiny pebbles crunch beneath your feet. The morning silence is broken only by distant coughs and the dull scrape of clay bowls on sand. You walk toward the pile of tools like you do every day. Wooden sleds, stone picks, baskets for debris. You don't need to be told what to do. You've done this long enough to know that orders waste time, and time is just another way to burn. A boy stands by the trough. He looks about 12, but you know he's older. His body is small, twisted from long hours and little food. He leans over the edge, squinting into the hollow basin like something might appear. You stop a few steps away, not to help, just to look. Just to see if maybe, A miracle happened in the night. But there's nothing. The basin is dry. He presses his fingers to the stone, then to his lips. You watch him close his eyes, and you understand. You had done the same. You've prayed to water like it was a god. The overseer's horn sounds from beyond the tents. A low, guttural echo that tells your body to move before your mind even agrees. The boy flinches and walks away. You don't know where he'll work today. Maybe the stone line, maybe the outer path. You grip the rough handle of your tool and feel your palms twinge where old blisters cracked open last week. You follow the others. No one speaks. It's still early, but already your tunic sticks to your skin. The sun peeks over the sandhills, now slicing the sky with gold, not soft gold, not the kind sung about in scrolls. This gold is harsh, angry, full of judgment. It climbs fast, like it wants to catch you before you're ready. You look up once, just to remember what the sky used to feel like. It hurts your eyes. You look down again. The path to the quarry is longer than it was yesterday. You know it's not true, but your bones disagree. The man in front of you drags his feet. You see the dust swirl around his ankles. A woman walks beside a cart, pulling instead of pushing. Her child is nowhere in sight. Maybe he's too weak. Maybe she left him in the shade of someone's hut. You hope she remembered to shade his face. You hope she remembers his name. You climb the ridge and reach the ledge. Below you, the quarry yawns wide, like a hungry mouth that never stops chewing. Men move like ants along the base, lifting, pushing, sweating, dying. You hear the familiar sound of picks striking stone, the dull thunk of wood against gravel, the cough of someone who won't last the week. And behind it all, the windless silence of the desert watching. You step down onto the slope. Each foot sinks a little into the dust. The heat hasn't peaked yet, but you already feel the salt burning at your temples. You join the line. You grip the rope. You wait for the pull, and as the cart lurches forward, you say nothing, because you know how to last. Not with strength, not with water, but with silence, with stillness, with remembering how to suffer without moving. The first stone you carry is heavier than usual. Maybe it's the angle, maybe it's the day, maybe it's just you. You don't complain, you don't ask for help, you just move. Because that's what keeps you alive, because that's what the sun expects of you, because that's what it means to wake before the sun, and still choose to keep walking. You don't remember when it got into your mouth. Maybe it was this morning. Maybe it was yesterday. Maybe it's always been there. The sand sits beneath your tongue like grit in a wound. You chew without chewing. You swallow without choice. It coats the roof of your mouth. It scrapes against your gums when you try to speak, but you don't speak. Not anymore. You drag another stone from the stack. Your hands barely work. They're cracked, red, trembling. Not from effort, from dryness. The kind of dryness that makes skin feel like paper. The kind of dryness that turns flesh into bark. You squint against the sun. It's high now. It stares directly down, unblinking. You don't bother to wipe the sweat. There is none. You taste metal on your lip. You thought it was blood. It's not. Just the memory of it. A memory your mouth makes up to feel alive. Your tongue moves automatically, trying to find moisture where none exists. It presses against your cheek, then the roof of your mouth, then the edge of your back teeth. All you find is sand and silence. The man beside you drops his basket. The rope splits. The stone tumbles out. It hits the ground with a dull, heavy thud. No one helps. No one looks. He stares at it for a second, blinking slowly, as if deciding whether it's worth it. Then he kneels, not fast, not with purpose, just folds, like someone undoing a piece of cloth. His knees hit the dirt. He breathes out, then nothing. You keep walking. The cart behind you creaks. Someone groans. Another voice mutters something sharp. Not at you, just into the air. A curse, maybe, or a prayer. It's hard to tell the difference here. Everything sounds like suffering. You adjust your grip on the rope. It digs into your palm. You welcome the sting. Pain at least means your body still notices things. You reach the deposit pile and release the stone. Your fingers stick to the rope for a second too long. You have to peel them off. The heat has melted the fibers into your skin. You step back, letting the next person move. Forward, your legs shake, but they hold. Barely you turn to face the sand path again. The walk back feels longer. You tell yourself it's the slope, but you know it's the weight. You pass the boy again. He's not working with stone. He's brushing sand from between the sleds. Someone must have punished him. He moves slowly, head low, lips apart. His mouth opens with every breath, like he's trying to drink the air. His eyes are dull, not with sadness, with surrender. You want to offer him something. A word, a nod, anything. But you keep walking. Your teeth ache. You don't know why. You haven't eaten anything that could cause it. But the pressure builds deep in the jaw, like something trying to crack from the inside. You clench. It doesn't help. You open. It's worse. The sand has worked its way into the cracks. You feel it grind with every bite. You try not to move your mouth at all. It doesn't matter. The sand moves on its own. The sun shifts, but the heat stays. The sky is too bright to be real. You reach the far end of the yard again. Someone hands you another stone. You don't know his name. You don't know if he knows yours. It doesn't matter. The gesture is simple. Take, lift, walk, drop. Repeat. You cradle the stone against your chest. It burns your skin. You do not flinch. The sweat never came. There's nothing left to protect you from the burn. A girl stumbles. Near the trough, her foot catches on a basket. She falls, hard. Her elbow scrapes open on the rocks. The skin tears. But no one stops. The guard watches from the edge. He doesn't speak, just taps his staff once against the ground. The sound is sharp. Final, she gets up slowly, lip trembling. Her hands tremble too, but not from pain, from thirst. She doesn't cry. She couldn't if she tried. You pass her. You keep walking, because that's how you survive. Because looking too long makes it worse. You reach the quarry mouth again. Your arms feel longer now, not tired, hollow, as if something has been pulled out of them slowly, hour by hour, drop by drop. You drop the stone. It rolls slightly, then settles. The overseer calls out a number. You don't hear it. You don't care. Numbers don't matter when your throat feels like a tunnel of dust. Your mouth opens again, reflects. You breathe in. More sand. It settles behind your teeth like guilt. You remember when your mouth used to taste like dates, like figs, like rainwater, stored in a clay pot. But those memories feel borrowed now, like they belonged to someone else. Someone who wasn't you. You rubbed your hand across your lips. It makes no difference. The sand is already there, and it will never leave, because in this place, even your breath turns to grit, even your silence carries weight, even your tongue forgets the shape of water. You hear it before you see it. That sound, that sudden split in the air, sharp, fast, final. The whip always makes the same noise, a voice that cuts without mercy. It doesn't just strike the skin, it echoes in the mind. It reminds you that time isn't yours, that your breath isn't yours, that your body belongs to the sun, the dust, and the hand that holds the rope. You don't look, you never look, because when the whip sings, it demands silence. A man shouts out, not a scream, just one broken word, not even a word, really, just a sound. Pain caught in the throat. You hear his knees hit the ground. The stone he was carrying rolls from his grip. It lands near your foot. You step around it. You keep walking. You've learned to ignore the fallen. They'll either rise again, or they won't. The overseer walks the edge of the quarry like a priest. His robes are thin, sweat-stained, and faded from the same sun that burns your back. But he walks differently, upright, rested. His eyes scan every movement, not with hate, not even with interest, just calculation, like he's measuring how many hours are left in each body, how much use can be squeezed out before the soul gives way. You lower your eyes, not out of respect, out of instinct. Your hands tighten around the rope. The weight behind you shifts with each step. The sled drags through the sand like a wound, leaving a mark that the wind will erase by nightfall. You keep your head down, your jaw clenched. The sand still presses against your teeth like crushed bone. You don't think about water anymore. You think about silence. The whip cracks again. Closer. You don't flinch. That's the rule here. No flinching, no blinking, no slowing. You keep moving as if nothing happened, as if the pain was never there, as if the sound doesn't echo in your chest like thunder. The man next to you stumbles, his heel catches. On a loose stone, he falls, forward, hard. The basket tips, the rocks scatter. The overseer's shadow crosses both of you. You freeze, not from fear, from memory. You've seen what happens when someone moves too quickly. The whip doesn't always choose the one who falls. Sometimes it chooses the one who notices. You stare at your hands. You wait. The man beside you doesn't get up. The overseer crouches, says nothing, then rises. The whip doesn't crack this time. It thuds, a low, heavy sound. You hear it strike flesh, again and again, until the man's breathing turns shallow, then silent, then nothing. You still don't look. The sound of footsteps fades. You release the breath you didn't know you were. Holding someone ahead of you drops a tool. The metal hits stone. The overseer stops, turns, and keeps walking. You watch his back grow smaller as he moves toward the far wall. His shadow stretches long across the quarry floor. The heat is worse now. It presses against your shoulders like a weight. Your feet burn inside your sandals. The leather is thin, cracked. Each step feels like walking on iron. You feel the edge of the sun moving across your spine, as if it's chasing your heartbeat, as if it wants to boil you from the inside. Out, you reach the mound. Drop the rope, lift another load. Your hands shake. You don't wipe your face. There's no sweat to wipe. Your skin feels tight. Your lips split. When you open your mouth, dust stirs. Nothing more. The woman beside you breathes heavy. Her shoulders slump. She doesn't speak, but her eyes flick toward the overseer's path. You both know the rhythm now. When the whip sings, time folds. You learn to move quieter, slower, not lazily, but invisible. That's the only safety here. To disappear while still moving. The sun crosses its highest point. The air turns white. You smell nothing, hear nothing, except the distant promise of leather, slicing wind, and the silence that follows. A silence louder than any scream. You drag another load. Your arms feel like cloth bags filled with stone. You don't stop, because stopping is permission. Stopping is invitation. Stopping is the moment. The overseer sees you, and the whip never forgets a new name. It remembers the curve of shoulders, the pattern of breath, the slight stumble in your step. You keep moving, because pain is better than punishment, because breath is better than blood, because silence is safer than thirst. And the whip, it's always listening. You see it happen from the corner of your eye, not clearly, just the shape of it. A boy crouching low behind the carts near the edge of the quarry wall. His body is small, all elbows and ribs. His movements too quick. To be safe, you know him. Not by name, by the way he walks. By the sound his sandals make when he drags them across the dust. He never runs. But now he is moving fast. Too fast. You don't turn your head. You keep your face toward the stone. But your eyes drift, just enough to see him lean down. Just enough to see the glint of something in his hand. A bowl, no dash smaller. A shard of broken cup. You know what he's after? There's a crack near the base of the water jar. The overseers filled it last night. Not for the workers, for themselves. But sometimes, just sometimes, if the heat shifts right, the jar sweats. You've seen it, just one drop. It gathers near the base like a tear. The boy kneels. He presses the shard beneath the jar. You see his hand tremble, not from fear, from need. He moves the edge carefully, catches the drop. It slides, slow, precious. It pulls in the curve of the shard, a shallow puddle, smaller than a fingernail. He lifts it to his lips. You watch his eyes close, his mouth open. The shard tilt, and then a voice. Shouts sharp, unforgiving. The boy freezes. You feel the air tighten. The overseer storms. Forward, robes twisting in the wind. Dust follows his feet like smoke. He doesn't wait. The whip is already rising, already singing. The boy drops the shard. It hits the ground and shatters further. The drop disappears into the sand, gone, as if it never existed, as if it was never meant to exist. The first strike lands across the boy's back. He gasps, loud, sharp, another, then another. He curls into himself, arms overhead, knees tucked in. But the overseer doesn't stop, each strike louder than the last, each one cutting not just skin, but the memory of hope. The boy doesn't cry, not out loud, just a soft whimper, a broken breath, a body trying not to vanish. You clench your jaw, your hands close into fists around the rope, but you don't move. No one moves. That's the rule. That's the way things are. You look down at your feet, at the line your toes, leave in the dust at the spot where your own shadow ends. The sound of the whip finally stops. The overseer steps back. He spits near the broken shard, then walks away. The boy lies still for a moment, his body curled like a question. Then slowly he begins to rise. One hand, then the other. His face is streaked with dirt. Not tears, his mouth open, dry, red. But his eyes, they're still awake, still burning. He doesn't look at anyone, just turns, barefoot, and walks toward the line of stones, again. No one speaks to him, not out of cruelty, but because words are salt, and he already has too many wounds. You turn back to your task, lift another stone, feel the weight, pull against your spine. You step into the same footprints. You've been walking all day, but something in your chest has changed. Not anger, not fear, something softer, something that doesn't belong here. You try to swallow, your throat closes. You taste nothing, but you remember the way the boy held that drop, as if it were life itself. And for a moment, you believe it was. You lift the next stone slowly, not because of the weight, but because of the shape. It's smooth on one side, jagged. On the other, heavy in an uneven way. If you don't hold it just right, it will slip. Crack your foot, slice your arm, break your ribs. You've seen it happen before. Bones bent backwards like twigs, crushed fingers, faces too swollen to recognize. But that's not why you cradle it carefully. That's not why your hands wrap around its sides like arms around a newborn. You carry this one like it matters, like it's more than limestone, like it needs to be protected. Because somewhere, deep inside your body, where the thirst hasn't reached yet, you remember what it was like to carry something else, someone else, a body that moved, a breath that touched your shoulder, a child, maybe yours, maybe not. It's hard to say now. Memory twists in the heat, but your arms remember, your back remembers, your heart pretends it does too. You press the stone to your chest, it burns against your skin. Your tunic sticks, damp not with sweat, but with the last of what your body can give. You take a step forward, then another. Your shoulders tilt, adjusting for the uneven shape. You walk carefully, slowly, like if you go too fast, it'll cry. Like if you trip, something precious will break. The wind kicks up suddenly. Not enough to cool, just enough to blind. Sand blows against your face. It stings your eyes. You blink once, then squeeze them shut for a breath. When you open them again, the quarry looks the same, but farther away. You shift the stone in your arms. It groans against you, like it doesn't want to be moved. You whisper nothing to it, just a breath. Just the sound of silence shaped into comfort. You pass the trough. Again, still dry. Someone left a cracked jug beside it. Empty. The sun is higher now, but there's no shadow. Not here, not in this place. The woman beside you stumbles. You don't catch her. You can't. Your hands are full, and the stone must not fall. She regains her footing. Her lip is bleeding. She doesn't notice. Or maybe she doesn't care. Her eyes flick to your arms, to the way you carry the stone. Not with strength, with tenderness. She doesn't speak, but something in her face softens for a second, then hardens again, then disappears. You reach the deposit point. You kneel, lower the stone, gently, like placing a child in its cradle. You stand back up, but slowly. Everything moves slow now, as if the heat has thickened the air, as if time has to wade through sand too. Find you. Your arms feel hollow. Your chest aches, not from thirst, but from memory. You try to blink it away, but there it is again, the shape of a smaller body curled against yours. A laugh, quick and quiet. Tiny fingers tugging at your wrist, asking for water. You never answered. You never had enough. You reach for the next stone. It's heavier, rougher, more cruel, but you lift it and hold it close. Because if you let yourself forget, you'll become nothing but dust. And the only way to survive this place is to carry something like it matters. She walks just ahead of you, always just a few steps away. Not fast, not strong, just steady. Her back is curved like a sickle, her shoulders rounded from years of lifting, dragging, bending. Her hair is wrapped in linen, but the edges are frayed. The cloth slips down her neck as the day grows hotter. Her skin is darkened by sun-lined, by silence. You don't know her name. No one does. But you know her hands. They are the kind of hands that don't bleed anymore. You've seen them, cracked at every knuckle, dry as split stone. The fingers bent slightly inward, not from pain, from habit, as if they're always expecting to carry something. A jug, a tool, a child, a stone. The nails are worn to the quick. The palms are like bark. You've watched her pick up a block of limestone with those hands, as if they belonged to someone younger, someone who hadn't buried so many mornings. Today, she carries nothing, not yet. She walks toward the pile, alone. No partner beside her, no whisper of help. You follow her path, eyes low. The heat rises off the ground in shimmering waves. The sun paints everything in pale gold, but it's not beautiful. It's too sharp, too dry. The sand sticks to the sweatless curve of your jaw. You taste it again, that bitter dust. But you don't wipe it away. She kneels near the edge of the stack, not all the way down, just enough to brace herself. Her knees don't bend easily anymore. You see her fingers tremble. She chooses a stone, not the smallest, not the easiest, but one she can balance. She lifts it slowly. Her arms tighten. Her mouth parts. A short breath escapes. Her hands close around it like old rope tying shut a bundle. You expect her to falter. She doesn't. She rises, shaky but upright. You step forward to help her. Just a word, a look, but her eyes stop you. Not cruel, not hard, just ... Tired, like someone who's had everything taken from her, except the right to keep trying. You carry your own stone, she carries hers. Side by side now. You don't speak, but you match her pace. Each step carved into the sand. The quarry wall grows closer. The sun burns white now. Your lips crack further, but you keep them closed. She stumbles once, only once. Asterisk, and you turn your shoulder just slightly. Not enough to stop her, not enough to shame her, just enough that she steadies herself again. She does not thank you. She does not need to. When you reach the drop point, she lowers her stone with a care that makes it sacred, like it holds her story, like it's the last thing she carried today. Then she straightens and walks back. 1 foot in front of the other, back to the pile, back to the weight, back to the work that never ends. You watch her go, the cracked hands, the quiet strength, the years in her shoulders. And for a moment, you wonder who she was before this place, before the quarry, before the silence, before the sun began carving names into bone. And you wonder what it would feel like to hold her hand without breaking it. You reach the quarry wall by midday, not because you want to, not because you're strong, because the line pushed you here, because today it's your turn to work the edge. The stones are heavier here, the cuts sharper, the sun hotter. This part of the quarry holds no shadow, not even the illusion of one. The cliff face reflects light like a mirror made of sand. It blinds without shine. It burns without fire. It watches you work without mercy. You step into place. Your feet crunch over gravel and dry bones of stone. The wall towers above, not smooth, not carved, but jagged, like it was torn open instead of built. Cracks run through it like veins, some filled with dust, some with scorpions, some with silence. You raise your pick, swing it against the rock. The sound is dull, a low thud, not the clean strike you wanted, but it counts. The overseer will hear it, and that's all that matters. You swing again and again, each time slower, each time harder to lift your arms. Your hands go numb, then sting. You try to shift your grip, but the wooden handle bites back. The blisters are too deep now. One splits. You feel it tear. Warmth spreads across your palm. Not much, just a thin line of blood, but it feels like betrayal. Like your body is leaking the only thing it has left. The sun presses down on your back. Your skin feels brittle, not burnt, dried, like it might crack if you move too fast. You glance to your right. Another man chips away at the rock. His pick slower than yours, his eyes half shut. He leans forward too far, like his spine forgot how to hold weight. He coughs, a sharp sound, then bends again. No words pass between you. There's no speaking here, not in a place without shade. The wall gives a little, just a sliver. A piece of stone slides loose and falls at your feet. You crouch, scoop it into your basket. Your knees ache, your back screams. You straighten anyway, because you know what happens to the ones who sit too long. The heat plays tricks here. You see the outline of trees sometimes. Palms, cool, branches swaying in a breeze that doesn't exist. You blink, it's gone. Just a shimmer in the rock. You feel your breath quicken. That's dangerous. You slow it down, in through the nose. No, that burns out through cracked lips. You taste blood again. You wipe your mouth on your arm. It leaves a mark. A guard walks the top ridge, his staff tapping rhythmically. You don't look up. Looking up is weakness. Looking up means your eyes adjust to light, and they may not survive it. You keep chipping, keep swinging, keep breathing in dust that scratches your lungs like sandpaper. You feel your thoughts unravel. Time becomes strange. You don't remember how long you've been here. Minutes, hours. The sun never moves. It just hangs above, like a god that's forgotten your name. The stone gives way again. You drop another chunk into the basket. The motion makes your knees wobble. Your feet slide slightly. You catch yourself. No one notices. You're glad, you wonder, in a slow, drifting sort of way, what it would feel like to lie down right here, against the quarry wall, in the full heat. Let the light bleach you into memory. Let the stone hold you. Let the dust bury your name. But you don't, because you're still here, because your hands still work, because there's no shade, and there's still stone to break, so you swing again, and again, until the sound of your pickies, the only thing that remembers you. It doesn't sound like a scream. It doesn't even sound like a fall, just a thump, a soft, final thump in the dirt behind you, like a bag of sand tipping over, like something dropping that shouldn't have dropped. You freeze, only for a second, long enough for your ears to notice it wasn't a tool, not a rock, not a cart. It was a body. You don't turn right away. You know the rules, you know the cost. The sound of someone falling belongs to them, not to you. Not unless you want to be punished beside them. Not unless you want your body to forget its own weight. Still, you listen. Behind the hum of wind, behind the crunch of footsteps, Behind the quiet scrape of pickaxes against the quarry floor, there's silence. Too much silence. You turn your head. Slowly, just enough to see without being seen. It's the old man with the twisted knee. You've watched him, limp for days now. The way he drags his left foot like it's tied to something below the earth. He's on his side. One arm stretched out, the other curled beneath his chest. His tunic is stained dark at the shoulder. Dust and blood blending together in patterns you've seen too often to name. No one moves toward him, not the guards, not the others. They all saw, and they all learned long Agathat moving makes. You are witness, and witnesses are not welcome here. You turn back your fingers, clench around your tool. The stone wall rises before you like a prayer. Unanswered, you lift your arm, strike again. The sound echoes. But your thoughts stay behind you. With the old man, you wonder if he's breathing. You wonder if he's still in his body. You wonder if he's counting the same heartbeat you are, waiting for someone to speak his name. But no one does. His mouth is open, facing the sun. You think if he's still alive, the heat is pouring into him now, like smoke into a cracked jar. You glance sideways once more. He hasn't moved. His shadow hasn't moved either. You don't know if you're more afraid of him rising again or staying still. You go back to work, because you have to, because looking too long feels like hope, and there's no space for hope. By the quarry wall, the sun climbs higher, though it feels impossible. The light hurts your eyes even with your head down. Your arms are heavier now. You drag another stone from the wall and drop it into the basket at your feet. Your hands sting. A sliver of stone slices your palm. You feel it, but barely. Pain doesn't land the same anymore. It hovers, just out of reach. You tie the basket and lift it. Your back bends without argument as you walk. You pass him, still lying there. Eyes closed now. Or maybe just two. Dry to blink, his mouth still open, like he's whispering something to the sun. You keep walking, your shadow flickers across his body, then disappears again. You don't look back, you don't pray, you don't speak his name, because here, in this place, even a name can be stolen, even a fall can be forgotten, even your own breath can leave you without. Saying goodbye, it's not just in the air now. It's in your throat, in your nose, behind your eyes. The dust, it settles on your tongue like flour gone bitter. It clings to the back of your mouth, thick as ash. You try to breathe slow, shallow, through your teeth, past cracked lips. But it still finds its way inside, no matter how careful you are. No matter how you hold your breath between steps, the dust always wins. You tighten the cloth around your face. It doesn't help, it's too thin, too old, frayed at the edge and soaked with your own spit. You can feel your mouth drying out around it. You haven't swallowed in hours, not because you don't want to, because there's nothing left to swallow with. Your mouth is a cave now, dry, silent, echoing with absence. The man ahead of you coughs, a deep, ragged sound. You hear him spit, or try to. Nothing comes out, just the sound of a body. Failing slowly, you don't flinch. You can't afford to. Your load is balanced too carefully across your shoulders. One shift, and you'll tip. And if you tip, you fall. Asterisk, and if you fall, you know what happens next. You lift one foot, then the other. Each step stirs more dust. It curls up from the ground like smoke, crawls into your nose, coats the inside of your throat. You try to hum to distract yourself, but no sound comes out, only breath, dry, gritty. You taste. The same thing you've tasted for days now. Old sand and the memory of copper. Your lips crack again. A fresh split. You don't wipe it. What's the point? Your tongue feels thick, like it's trying to fold in on itself, searching for moisture in places it forgot it had. You swallow once. It hurts. You swallow again. There's nothing. Just the grit. Just the silence. The sun flattens the world around you. Shadows blur. Edges soften. Everything becomes the same. Faded gold. The ground. The tools. The bodies moving beside you. You can't tell where one thing ends and another begins. Only the dust stands out always. The dust, it clings to the lines of your face. You feel it gather in the corners of your eyes, like tears. If tears had dried out long ago, someone stumbles. Nearby, the shift sends a swirl of sand into your face. You cough hard. The noise scrapes your throat raw. You bend slightly, trying not to lose the rhythm of your walk. You spit nothing, just a whisper of color against your tongue. You keep walking. You don't stop. Even when your head spins. Even when your ribs tighten. Even when your breath rasps like old rope through a hollow pipe. Because you know, if you stop, if you slow, if you kneel, you won't get back up, and the dust will fill your mouth for good. Like it has for so many. Like it wants to. You reach the pile. Drop the load. Wipe your hand across your chin. It comes away coated in gold and red. Your own blood and the sand now. Mixed together, the taste returns to your mouth. But it's not water, not hope, not anything that heals. It's dust, always dust, and your body, somehow, still trying not to swallow it. He stands just beyond the pile of stones. Not working, not watching, just standing. His shadow pulls at his feet like a stain that doesn't dry. His robe is newer than yours, cleaner. His sandals are thick leather, the kind that doesn't burn through. You've seen him before, always. Near the water jars, always near the shade. But today, he's closer. Today, he's holding a cup. You don't stop moving. You don't give him the satisfaction. But your eyes shift. Just once, he tilts the cup. In his hand, slow, deliberate. The rim catches the light. You see the shine of liquid inside. Real water, not the imagined kind your mind invents when the wind kicks up dust. Not the memory of water. Not the idea of it. Actual water, cool, wet, enough to leave a ring on the clay. Your mouth reacts before your thoughts. Your lips part. Your throat contracts. Your tongue rises. It's not hunger, not desire. It's need. It's your body remembering, even when your mind tries to forget. The guard raises the cup to his mouth. He doesn't drink right away. First, he looks across the line, not at you directly, at all of you, at the ones still walking, the ones still bending, the ones still carrying stone like they carry their own coffins. Then, slowly, so slowly, he takes a sip. His throat moves. He swallows. You hear it, not the sound itself, but the silence that follows it. The kind that punches the air out of your lungs. He sighs after a long, satisfied breath. He wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. A single drop lingers at the corner of his lip. It falls into the sand. Gone. You watch it vanish. Your jaw tightens. You look away, because looking too long turns to anger, and anger dries. You out faster than the sun ever could. You focus on your next step. You feel your knees shake. You adjust the stone on your shoulder. It rubs against raw skin. You try to think of other things. A River.a basin. Rain against a roof you no longer remember. A clay jar with condensation beading down its side. Your mother's hand holding it out to you, in a doorway filled with shade. But the memory slips, it always does, and in its place, only thirst. And that cup, still half full, still taunting. You reach the drop point, and lower your load. Your fingers stick to the rough edge of the stone when you pull them back. They leave skin behind. You don't cry out. You barely feel it. Your attention stays on the cup. The guard lifts it again, another sip. His eyes catch yours now. Just for a second, he knows what he's doing. He's not thirsty. He's reminding you, reminding all of you what he has, what you don't, what you'll never earn. You drop your gaze. You step aside, back toward the line, back toward the sun, back toward the stones that don't judge. Don't drink, don't laugh, and as you walk away, the taste in your mouth turns bitter, not from dust, not from blood, from knowing what water sounds like when someone else swallows it. You remember its name, the river, the great one, the one your father once called a living god. He used to speak of it with reverence, like it was more than water, like it had a heart, like it chose who would live and who would die. He said no one went thirsty near the river, that even in the hottest months, its banks stayed soft, its breath cool, its voice steady. But here, standing inside this quarry with the sun clawing at your neck, the river may as well be a myth. You can't see it from here. You never have. You just know it exists. Somewhere beyond the ridge, beyond the guards, beyond the cracked horizon that never moves closer, no matter how long you look at it. They say the Nile still runs. They say the pharaoh still drinks from it, that the city children splash in it, that jars of its water are poured on temple stones. But out here, it's nothing more than a rumor, a soft idea that makes your body ache harder. You press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. It scrapes like stone, no moisture, not even a trace, just the dry rasp of dust grinding into flesh. You squint toward the sky, hoping for clouds. There are none. There are never clouds, only that pale, brutal blue, and the sun in its center, glaring like it resents your persistence. You turn your head just slightly, toward the eastern edge. You've heard it lies in that direction, the river. You've heard stories of it flooding, of reeds whispering beside its banks, of birds landing in its cool shallows. But that world isn't yours. It belongs to people who live with roofs over their heads, people who carry baskets of bread instead of stone, people whose names are written, remembered, spoken. You grip the sleds, rope tighter, your hand sticks to it, blood, sweat, and dirt fusing like glue. The thought of the river doesn't help. It hurts. It opens a hunger wider than thirst, a hunger for softness, for shade, for water that comes without punishment. You blink, and for a second you think you hear it, not the overseer's voice, not the wind, but flowing, moving, rippling, rippling. You close your eyes, you see it, the banks, wide and green, the light bouncing off the surface in warm, dancing shards. A cup dipped in slowly, the water dark and cool and alive. You can almost taste it, and then someone calls your name. The first time all day. You snap back. The heat floods your ears again. The stone at your feet is heavier than you remember. The sand beneath it to hot you. Drag it toward the pile anyway. You don't look east again. You don't look anywhere, because you know now, even if the river runs forever, even if the gods still drink from it, even if a drop fell from the sky right now into your waiting mouth, It would vanish before it touched your tongue. Because out here, the river is too far to matter, too kind to remember you, too sacred to save you. The midday bell doesn't ring. It never does. It's not a bell you hear, just a shift in the rhythm. A slow, quiet pause that ripples through the line. Movements grow sluggish, picks lower, tools drop with less urgency. No voice announces the break. The sun does. The ache in your legs does. The silence between coughs does. And still, no one stops entirely. Not really, not unless they want to be forgotten. You step back from the quarry edge, your feet dragging through sand that feels hotter than the sky itself. Your shoulders slump. Your arms hang like empty sacks. The stone you dropped seconds ago still feels like it's clinging to your spine. You try to straighten. You try to breathe. But the air is sharp, and your ribs ache from holding everything in. Someone passes you a hunk of bread, hard, dry. You take it. Without speaking, you don't remember earning it. Maybe you did. Maybe someone took pity. Maybe the overseer allowed it. Maybe not. You hold it in both hands like it might turn into water if you beg long enough. It's flat, colorless, dusted in sand just from being in the air. You bite down, your teeth hit resistance. The crust is stone hard. You chew once, twice, but your mouth is too dry. The crumbs stick to your tongue. You can't swallow. It's no longer food, it's clay. Your eyes sting, not from tears, from the struggle, to make your body forget what it needs. A whisper breaks the air beside you. A girl, you've seen her before. She doesn't speak much. She crouches near the baskets, always quiet, always alone. Now, she leans closer. She holds out a small shard of pottery. Inside it, a drop.1, a single, trembling drop of water. It shivers in the curve of the cup, the size of a fingernail. Not enough to save, but enough to remember. You freeze. She doesn't offer it for free. She gestures toward the bread in your hand. Her eyes don't plead. They calculate bread for water. The oldest trade. You hesitate. One drop. Just one. Is it worth it? Your stomach growls. Your lips burn. But your throat is a desert. You hold out the bread. She takes it. A fast exchange. No words. She slides the shard into your hand. Your fingers close around it like a secret. You lift it to your lips, carefully, not too fast. You don't want to spill. You tilt your head. The drop touches your tongue. And for a second, the world stops. It's cold, so cold, it hurts. A chill that slides across your mouth, like silk. You close your eyes. It's gone in less than a breath. But it's enough. Enough to remember what life felt like before the sun took everything. Enough to soften the next swallow. Enough to remind your blood that it still moves. You hold the shard to your chest, as if it still holds. More, the girl is already gone. The bread in her hand disappears into her mouth. You nod once, even though she doesn't see it. Because that drop was worth everything. And in this place, that's all you can hope for. A moment, a mercy, a single, borrowed breath of water, traded not for gold, not for favor, but for bread, to dry, to chew. The rumor spreads like heat, soft at first, then faster. Someone says they saw it near the base of the second ridge, just past the abandoned cart. A patch of sand, darker than the rest. Not wet, not exactly, just different. Like it remembered something the rest of the desert forgot. You don't believe it. Not really, but your feet move anyway. You tell yourself it's not for you, that you're just curious. that you're walking there because your work took. You close, but your breath stirs quicker in your chest, and your hands feel lighter, and that weightless feeling is more dangerous than thirst. You pass others on the way. No one speaks. No one wants to say it aloud and lose it to the air. Hope is fragile, and the desert hears everything. The sand near the cart is the same color as always, pale, hot, waiting. But someone has been digging. Not deep, just a few handspans down. The hole is crooked, rushed like it was done in fear or in secret. You crouch beside it. Your knees protest. Your palms flatten against the dirt. Still warm, still dry. You reach in carefully, one layer at a time. Grains shift under your fingertips. The sound is soft, like whispers. You feel something cooler beneath. Not cold, just less hot. You scrape sideways. A small hollow appears, and in the center, a scrap of cloth, wrapped tight. You lift it out, unfold it slowly. Inside, a piece of leather tied around a small jar, cracked, dull dot, but sealed dot. You stare at it. Your mouth forgets how to move. The jar is no bigger than your fist. You shake it gently. Its slosh ease, quietly. Your heart stutters. Your throat tightens. You press your finger to the rim. The seal peels away, and there it is, water, real, clear. You can see your reflection in it. Eyes sunken, lips split, but still alive. You bring it closer, then stop. Footsteps, someone behind. You don't turn, you don't breathe. Another step, then another. You tuck the jar beneath your arm, stand. Slowly, turn your body so the cloth hides it from view. A man stands a few feet away, tall, thin dot. His eyes flick to the hole, then to your hands. He says nothing, just watches. You nod once. He doesn't nod back. You walk away, slow, measured. No sudden movements. Your feet carry. You back toward the quarry line. Your arms tight around your ribs. You don't drink yet. You can't. Not here, not now. Not while eyes are still watching. Not while the guards still walk the ridge. But your mind burns with the weight of it. A treasure, a secret, asterisk. Someone buried water in the sand, and now it's yours. Yours to protect, yours to hide, yours to carry. Like a heartbeat, you reach your spot. Set the jar beneath the basket. Cover it with torn cloth. You bend to lift another stone, and for the first time today, you feel stronger. Not from food, not from rest, from the knowledge that something precious served thee, heat, the sun, the silence, and it is waiting just inches from your reach. It happens slowly, like everything here. Not a sharp pain, not a sudden wound, just a tightness, a dryness that grows so constant it becomes a second skin. You barely notice it at first. You've been thirsty for so long that discomfort no longer surprises you. But then your tongue presses against your teeth. The edge curls upward toward the roof of your mouth, and you feel it. A split dot, thin dot, small dot, but deep enough to sting, like paper torn across the grain. Your breath catches, not from pain, but from surprise, because you didn't know there was anything left to break. You stop chewing. You weren't chewing anything, just the air dot, just the dust, just the dryness that you've shaped into habit. Your lips part. You try to swallow. Nothing. Your mouth is a clay bowl left in the sun too long, cracked at the corners, empty, heavy. You bring your hand to your jaw, fingers brushing your face. There's grit there, always grit. Even your skin tastes like stone now. You try to gather saliva, even a trace. even enough to coat the cut. But there's nothing, only heat, only the memory of moisture. Your tongue rests against your teeth again, a mistake. The crack widens. You close your mouth, breathe through your nose, but that burns, too. You crouch by the basket and pretend to rest. One arm draped lazily across your knee. The other moves slowly beneath the cloth. Your fingers find the shape of the jar. Still there, still cool to the touch. Somehow, you hesitate, just for a breath. Then, with the care of someone holding flame, you slide the jar forward. Just an inch. Just enough to see the rim. Your heart beats. Faster now. Your eyes scan the edge of the quarry. The guards, the shadows, no. One's watching, not yet. You raise the jar to your chest, tilt it slightly. Not enough to spill, just enough to hear it again. That soft sound, water, alive inside. Clay you want to drink. You need to, but something in you waits. You press your thumb to your tongue. Instead, feel the heat, the split. You can't remember what a wet mouth feels like anymore. You look at the jar. You whisper a word you no longer remember the meaning of. Then press the rim to your lips. Just barely, just a breath's worth. You tilt. One drop. It touches the crack, and the pain becomes real. Immediate, sharp. Like the first breath after drowning. Your mouth pulses. Your jaw tightens. But the drop stays. Soaks, clings, heals. Nothing but remembers everything. You pull the jar away. Set it down beneath the cloth again. Hide it. You taste iron, now blood. But beneath it, a ghost of cool, a flicker of life. You sit in that stillness for a moment. Eyes closed, mouth half open, tongue resting flat, like something sacred, just passed through. You hear the pickaxes start again. You rise, lift, another stone. Your mouth throbs, your head spins, but the pain no longer feels empty, because you've remembered what it means to be whole for just a second, even if all it gave you was a drop against the crack. You see him near the edge of the southern rise, where the stone turns soft and the ground breaks easier under weight. He's not part of the day's line. He isn't lifting or dragging. He's too far from the overseer's path, too quiet to be on any list. But you notice him, crouched low, back to the wind, his fingers buried deep in the sand. He isn't using a tool, just his hands, both stripped to the bone in places, knuckles raw, red, fingernails gone or broken halfway. You slow your steps as you pass, not to stare to, understand. His head is down. He doesn't look at you, doesn't look at anyone, just keeps digging. One scoop at a time, like the sand is hiding, something only he remembers. You glance at the pit. It's shallow, not enough to bury a man, not enough to find water, but he digs anyway, fevered, focused. The rhythm of his arms, hypnotic, like prayer turned violent. A worker nearby mutters, he thinks there's a spring. The words drift through the heat like smoke. No one answers, because hope like that is dangerous, because it's catching. You stop beside the sled, pretending to adjust the load, but your eyes stay on the man. He's muttering words you don't understand. His mouth barely moves, but you can see the cracks at the corners. His tongue is dark, his face scorched. He looks like someone who was once a teacher, or a father. Now, he's just hands and desperation. Another scoop, another breath, another fistful of earth thrown aside like sin. Someone laughs, low, cruel. The overseer's voice. Let him find the Nile down there. Someone jokes. But the man keeps going. He doesn't hear, or he does, and refuses to stop. He hits something. His whole body jerks. Not water, just rock. A small, pale stone. He pulls it out and stares at it like a jewel. He turns it over in his hand, then presses it to his lips. He bites it, it breaks. His mouth bleeds. He spits the dust out and digs again. You can't look away, because somewhere, deep inside, you remember doing the same. Once, long ago, when you still believed the earth could answer. You walk on because you have to. Because standing still invites punishment. Because your arms are full. But as you move, your thoughts stay behind. With the man who keeps digging, with his ruined hands. With the pit that won't save him. And the spring that doesn't exist. And still, part of you wants him to find it. Part of you wants the sand to open, to split wide, to pour water like forgiveness into his arms. Even though you know it won't. Even though you know this place offers nothing but thirst. You carry your stone back to the line, your jaw tight, your tongue silent, but the image remains a man, kneeling, still digging with his bare hands, as if the godshad left him something just one breath deeper. You kneel beside the next slab, arms shaking, knees digging into the sand. The rock before you is broad and flat, half sunken into the ground like it was placed there by someone who forgot what it meant to be lifted. It doesn't shine like the others. It doesn't crack under heat. It holds the sun without flinching. Its surface is dark, almost damp. You touch it, not with hope, just to confirm the lie your eyes are telling you. But the stone is cool, cooler than your skin, cooler than anything you've touched all day. You place your palm flat against it. Pressing harder, it doesn't fight you. It doesn't burn. It holds, like something kind, like something old enough to remember. Water. You close your eyes, and for the first time since morning, you let your breath fall slow. You lean forward, your forehead touches the stone, and you whisper, not loud, not like a plea, just soft words that rise from your ribs, like mist. You don't call it prayer. You don't know what gods still listen in this place, but you speak to the stone, as if it can hear, as if it remembers rain, as if beneath its dark shell, there's a memory of rivers curling against its side. You tell it you're tired, that your mouth has turned to clay, that your arms no longer believe in tomorrow. You tell it you don't want much. Not a flood, not a well, just a drop, just enough to remind your tongue what life feels like. Your fingers trail across its surface. You think you feel moisture, but you don't trust your skin. Anymore it lies too icily. A guard's voice calls out, far away, not for you, not yet. You stay for one more breath, your chest against the slab, your cheek pressed to its silent face. You wonder if anyone else buried here, if someone once carved their last breath into this rock and waited for the wind to carry it away. You pull back slowly. The heat returns the moment. Your skin leaves the stone. You reach for the rope. You wrap it around the slab's edge. You lift it resists, but only a little. It wants to come with you. You carry it with care, not because it's heavy, because it feels sacred, as if some part of the river, far and forgotten, curled itself into this one stone and gave it to you as a sign, as a reminder that even in this place, the earth hasn't forgotten you to hold water, even if it hides it in silence, even if it buries it in stone. It happens slowly at first. You don't notice until it's too late. The shadows shift, but not the way they're supposed to. The line between sunlight and shape blurs, like hot breath on glass. The horizon begins to throb, not move, throb, like a heartbeat, like the sky itself is straining, swelling, shrinking. You blink hard, but it doesn't go away. Your hands tremble around the rope. The stone you're pulling feels lighter or heavier. You can't tell anymore. You stop for a breath. The air ripples around your face. It's not wind. There is no wind. Just the air vibrating. Like skin beneath fever, your eyes scan the quarry. Everything wavers. People move like shadows caught under water. You press your tongue to your teeth. The crack from earlier is worse. You taste something, metallic, but you can't tell if it's blood or memory. You look up again, and the sun is wrong. Too big, too white. Like it's bleeding out across the sky. Like it wants to swallow everything beneath it. You squint, but the light pulses again. Brighter, then dimmer, then bright again. As if the day itself is breathing. You take a step. The ground seems to sway. You freeze. Not from fear, from confusion, from the slow unraveling of direction. Someone stumbles behind you. A sharp sound, then laughter. But it's not joy. It's broken, a dry chuckle that ends in a cough. You look over your shoulder. A boy, the same one from earlier, stands with his hands in the air, staring at nothing. His lips move. No sound comes out. Just air dot. The guards haven't noticed. Yet they're too far, too high on the ridge. You drag your stone a little further, but your arms feel like they're filled with air. No, not air. Sand, dry and shifting. Like you're lifting with your bones hollowed. The sky pulses again. Faster now. Your breath won't keep up. Your heart races. You try to blink the light away, but it's inside your eyes now. The sun pulses once more, and this time you hear it. Not a sound, a hum. Low, subtle, like the tone of a jar pressed to your ear. It spreads through your jaw, down your throat, into your ribs. You press your fingers to your temples. It helps nothing. You crouch, steady, yourself one hand against the ground. Hot, too hot. You pull back, the sand sticks to your palm. You try to breathe slow. In dot, out dot, in again. The sky pulses slower now. The edges soften. The light retreats. Slightly, you blink again. The quarry returns to shape. People move, stones fall. The overseer's voice calls the world, remembers itself, but your legs still shake. Your throat still burns. You rise slowly, lift the stone. Again, you don't look up. Not anymore, because now you know the sky breathes, and sometimes, when it forgets to exhale, you do too. It begins as a shimmer just past the line of broken carts where the sand dips low. At first, you ignore it. You've seen illusions before. Heat tricks, sun ghosts. They come and go like flickers of memory. But this one stays. It doesn't blur or vanish. It rests, still and blue, like a bowl carved into the desert. A shape too smooth to be accident. A color too soft to belong here. You keep walking. Your load sways behind you. Your fingers loosen on the rope. But your eyes don't leave the shimmer. It pulses, not like the sky, not like pain, like invitation. A surface so quiet you can hear it without sound. You swallow. The crack in your tongue opens wider. But your mouth fills with something else, the taste of memory. You've seen this before. Not here, not now. In another life. You were young, maybe dot or dreaming. The pool was real then. You bent beside it. Ran your fingers across the surface. Watched the ripples stretch out toward the sun. You don't realize. You've stopped walking until someone brushes past you. A muttered curse, a shove of a shoulder. But your eyes stay locked on that blue. Asterisk, it isn't the color of sky. or cloth, or painted. Wall. It's deeper, richer, the color of relief, the kind that cools the breath in your chest. Before your mouth even drinks, you take a step toward it. Your shadow stretches in front of you, long and crooked. Another step. The pool stays still. Your heart thuds, slow and strange. It doesn't feel like hope. Hope died days ago. This feels older, quieter, as if the ground itself has given up and offered you a secret. You reach the low ridge. The pool lies ahead. You drop the rope, let the stone rest. Your knees bend without thinking. Your hands fall forward. You crawl the last few paces, not with shame, with reverence. You reach the edge. Lean over and blink. It's gone. The sand is dry, flat, empty. You press your palm into it. Just dust, hot and lifeless. Asterisk. You close your eyes. Your throat tightens. Not from thirst, from betrayal. The kind the earth gives. The kind that doesn't come with warning. A sound escapes your mouth. Not a cry, a sigh, a breath, meant to carry the weight of your body back up again. You sit, back against the stone. Arms wrapped around your ribs. You don't cry, you can't. There's nothing left in you that's soft enough to make tears. You tilt your head to the side, let it rest against your shoulder, and whisper, quietly, to no one. It looked so real. The wind answers with silence. You stay there a little longer, until the shimmer returns. Farther away now, smaller, distant. You don't move. You won't follow it this time, because you know now, some pools aren't meant to be touched. Some water only exists in the part of your mind that remembers what it felt like to be full. It falls across your lap without warning, a shadow, long bent, shaking. You don't hear footsteps, no voice, just the sudden shade that doesn't belong. You lift your head, slowly, careful not to flinch. The sun still burns, but for this moment, something stands between it and you, a shape, human, barely, swaying like a stalk of wheat in a field that never existed. The figure takes another step. The shadow shifts, closer now, too close. You squint up at them, not a guard, not someone you know, or maybe you did once, before faces blurred into hunger. Their eyes are hollow. Their lips are open, their skin pulled so tight you can see the shape of every tooth. Through their cheek, they don't speak. They just look down at you, then past you to the patch of ground where your hands rest, where you buried the jar, where you hid the last drop. Your body tenses, but you don't move. Not yet. The person sways again. Near yours, one palm grazes the corner of your cloth. You shift your body forward, casual, protective. They don't notice, or they do, but they're too far gone to care. They whisper something, a name, maybe, or a number, or just a sound. Their breath smells like stone and ash. They lean forward, their hand brushes your ankle, and you feel it, the weight of desperation. Not violent, not cruel, just final. You reach out, gently, and place a hand on their shoulder. Their bones rise beneath the cloth. Their body flinches, like a bird touched by wind. You look into their eyes. No recognition, only want. Not for you, for what you're hiding, for what they think might be beneath your feet. You speak, softly. No water. They blink once, twice. Their mouth moves, but no sound escapes. They sit back, folded knees, hands limp in their lap, like a puppet cut loose. You watch them sway, then still, then slowly. You don't move them. You don't speak again. The air grows quieter around you. The shadow remains dot, still covering both of you now. You glance toward the guards. They haven't noticed, or they don't care. The work continues. Stones fall. Tools scrape. The sun presses harder. But in this pocket of stillness, you sit beside a stranger's shadow and pretend the thirst belongs to someone else. Because here, you can lose your body, your name, your voice, your strength. But the moment someone gets too close to your water, you remember who you are again. Even if you don't want to, even if it costs you something, you close your eyes and let the shadow stay. Because for now, it is the only thing that doesn't burn. You rise too quickly. The ground tilts beneath you, a slow curve, like a bowl tipping to one side. You stagger. Your arms flail for balance, fingers grasping at air. There is nothing to hold on to here. No roots, no ropes, just the endless dust. Your feet move, but not how you tell them to. One step forward becomes a stumble. The next becomes a drag. You blink, but your vision won't settle. The line ahead is blurred now. People, stones, carts, all warped at the edges, like reflections on boiling water. Your feet don't follow memory. They float. You know where the ridge is. You know where the trough should be, but your steps won't line up with the path. You've walked since dawn. You pass too close to someone. Their elbow brushes your side. You flinch. Not from pain, from the unfamiliarity of contact. You forgot what it feels like to be touched. You veer left, then right, not on purpose. The ground shifts. Again, your balance is gone. You walk as if someone's pulling strings from above. Loose, slow, wrong. The sky flickers once, or maybe your eyes do. The light bends. Your knees soften. Your knees soften. You stop, but your body DOESN. Single quotes, your right foot steps into a hollow patch of sand. It sinks, twists, your ankle bends the wrong way. You grunt. Not a scream, your throat is too dry for that. Just a noise, low and broken. You fall to one knee. Your palm hits the sand. It scorches. Your other hand follows, catching you just before your face hits the ground. You stay there, frozen, hands and knees, breathing, dust. You can't hear anything except the blood inside your ears. It roars not like water, but crueler. You try to rise. One foot plants the other, trembles. You stagger upright. A shadow passes in front of you. Someone walking, not stopping, not helping. You shuffle forward. Your feet hit a rock. You didn't see it. You didn't feel it. You stumble again. This time you catch yourself barely. The pain in your ankle sharpens, but it keeps you real. Keeps you real. Keeps. You pause beside a cart. Grip the edge. The wood is splintered. It cuts your fingers. You don't care. The cart steadies you. You look up. Everything is brighter now. Too bright. Your eyes burn. You lower your head and realize you don't know where you're going. Not anymore. Not exactly. You've walked this path 1,000 times, but now it feels like someone rearranged the ground while you weren't looking. You take one more step, then another. Your feet forget where they're supposed to land, but they move anyway. Because they must. Because stopping means you become part of the quarry floor. Just another body buried in heat and silence. You keep walking. Even if the path forgets you, even if your legs betray you, even if the only direction left is forward, through a world that no longer makes sense, it creeps in slowly, like a secret. First a tightness, low in your neck, then a sting when you swallow, then a taste, not sharp, Not metallic right away, just thick, like something old and coppered, waking up behind your tongue. You cough once, nothing moves, your chest stays tight. Your throat stays sealed. You press your fingers gently to your neck, as if pressure might stop the rising. But it doesn't. You cough again. This time it hurts. Your head snaps slightly forward from the force. You bend at the waist and spit. A thin line of red lands in the sand. It disappears quickly, swallowed by thirst that doesn't care who it comes from. You wipe your mouth on your sleeve. The stain blooms, dark against the fabric. You look around, no one notices, or they do, and pretend not to. That's how it works here. You could bleed out standing, as long as you keep your hands on the rope. The guards wouldn't call it suffering. They'd call it discipline. The blood stings now. Your throat burns hotter than the sun on your skin. Every swallow is a drag of coals. You open your mouth slightly, trying to breathe through it. The air feels no different. Still thick, still full of dust. You imagine the grains, clinging to the inside of your lungs, coating the place where prayers used to live. You step away from the line, only for a moment, just enough to bend again behind a low stack of stone. You crouch, one arm draped across your knees. You spit again. It's darker now. Not bright red, thick red. You stare at it, and you feel a quiet fear settle beneath your ribs. Not the fear of death. You, VA, made peace with that. Not the fear of pain, you carry that daily. This fear is quieter, sadder, the fear that your body is giving up before your will does. You reach under your tunic, feel your chest rise and fall. It's shallow, too fast. You whisper something, a word, maybe a name. Asterisk, it cracks before it reaches your lips. You glance toward the ridge. The jar is still hidden, still untouched, but your fingers twitch toward it. Now, not for a drop, not for comfort, but because if your throat breaks open any wider, you'll lose more than blood. You'll lose the part of yourself that keeps choosing to stand. You kneel there a moment longer, face hot, lungs tight, eyes half dash closed. Then you rise, your knees shake, your back hunches, but your hands find the rope again, and your feet begin to move, not with strength, with memory, because even as your throat splits, even as blood coats your breath, your body remembers the rhythm of survival, and the work continues. Because out here, you don't stop because you're bleeding. You stop, Bakoso disappear. You hear it before you see him. That laugh, thin, sharp, dry as bone on stone. It doesn't rise from the chest. It doesn't carry warmth. It scrapes out of the mouth like dust blown through cracked teeth. A sound without roots, without weight. The kind of laugh that doesn't follow a joke, only power. You turn your head slightly. There he is, standing on the ridge, his robe drawn tight, but his skin still untouched by heat. His arms crossed over his chest like he's above it all, the sun, the dust, the suffering. His eyes sweep across the quarry, not with interest, with boredom. He laughs again, at nothing, at everything, at the way a man stumbles and keeps walking. At the girl who lifts the same stone twice, too dazed to notice. At the boy dragging a sled in circles, eyes unfocused. It's not cruelty in his face, it's emptiness. The kind that comes from watching too much pain for too long, from forgetting that bodies are not tools, from forgetting that voices used to belong to names. You stand still, holding your basket, waiting his eyes land on you. You look away, not fast, not too slow, just enough to show you know your place. He doesn't, speak, just snorts, then looks elsewhere. You exhale. You hadn't realized you were holding your breath. You shift your weight from one foot to the other. The rope digs into your palms again. You grip tighter. The overseer steps forward now, descending the slope. He walks past two guards, not acknowledging them. They straighten, just enough to be seen. He reaches the trough, stares into it, empty. Of course, he kicks it. Not hard, just a casual insult. A reminder that even the vessel meant to hold. Mercy is dry now. You glance at your hidden jar. It feels farther than ever. Like a dream pressed beneath. Stone, he turns and begins walking again. Past the quarry line. Past the carts. Past the boy still on his knees. He stops near a collapsed basket, picks up a stone, turns it over in his hand, then drops it like it bored him. Another laugh, shorter, colder. You wonder how long it's been since he drank. Anything but his skin glows. His mouth is not cracked. His feet do not drag. He walks like someone who has never tasted dust in their throat, like someone whose body has never forgotten water. You feel something curl in your chest. Not hate, not anger, something older. Resentment without fire, jealousy without voice. You blink it away. You return to your task. Lift, step, lower. The sun remains. Overhead, the overseer disappears behind a wall of stone. His laughter echoes once more. Not loud, but loud enough. And you realize it isn't laughter at all. It's the sound of a man who has forgotten what joy feels like, and only remember shut it means. To be obeyed, you see it high above, tracing slow circles through the sky. Its wings wide, black against the white-blue sun. It floats without effort, without sound, without care. It makes no cry, no rush to land, just slow, deliberate loops, as if it knows the exact hour when the next body will stop moving, as if it's counting. You try not to stare, you try not to wonder which of you it's waiting for, but the shadow of its glide skims across your shoulder, and you feel it, the weight of being watched. Not by gods, not by guards, by something simpler, older. The bird doesn't judge, it doesn't hate, it doesn't hate, it doesn't pity, it waits. And that waiting is heavier than chains. You drag the rope forward, your stone shifts, your back arches to compensate. The sweat never comes, but your skin still stings. You look up again, still there, lower now, closer, its wings. Barely move, it trusts the heat to carry it. The way you once trusted your legs. You wonder if it's the same. One that circled last week, the same one that stood by the woman who fell at the wall. The one no one moved for hours. You watched it. Land not in a rush, not as a thief, but like a guest. Polite, expected. Now it watches you. Not just your shape, but your breath. The way your knees shake when you bend. The way your chest stutters between steps. It sees the truth your voice won't say, that you're fading, not fast, but enough. You pass a man with a limp. He doesn't lift his head. You pass a girl whose eyes don't blink. You all walk like bones, wrapped in silence. The vulture circles lower still. Its wings tilt just once. Testing the wind, you feel it settle in your stomach. The knowledge it knows someone. Here won't see the next dusk, and it isn't in a hurry. It has all day, all week. It has patience, honed over centuries, the kind that desert creatures learn. You drop your stone beside the pile. Your fingers brush the edge of the cloth that hides your jar, the one you still haven't touched again. You consider drinking now, just a sip to prove to the sky you're not ready. But something stops you, not fear, not greed, dignity, thin as thread. You tighten the cloth, look. Up once more, the vulture glides, endless, beautiful, terrible, terrible, and you realize it's not here to punish, or reward, or rescue. It's just here to witness, to remember, in case no one else does. So you bow your head, not in surrender, in recognition, and return to the work, because that's what you do until the wings dip lower and the shadow no longer passes, but rests. Someone says it, you think, a voice from somewhere behind the carts, soft hoarse, cracked like clay after a long sun. It sounds like your name, or the name you used to have, but it lands strange in your ears, unfamiliar, hollow, as if it belongs to someone else. You pause mid-step, only for a second, just long enough for doubt to seep in. You look over your shoulder. No one's looking at you. No hand raised, no face turned. The voice fades, swallowed by wind that isn't there. You keep walking. The stone drags behind. Your fingers slip on the rope, but you hold on. You replay the sound in your mind. The shape of it, the rhythm it used to mean something. It used to carry weight, not like stone, but like memory, like the feel of someone calling you in the evening, when the sky still softened and the air held water. You try to say it silently, just once your name, but your lips move. Wrong. Your tongue misses the shape. It doesn't land the same way it used to. Too much time without hearing it too. Much silence piled around you like bricks. You've heard the guards bark numbers. You've heard your neighbors groan. But your name, the one you were born into, the one whispered by your mother with wet fingers on your forehead, that name, it's gone soft now, like it evaporated. You reach the edge of the quarry, drop the stone, breathe in, it burns. Your throat is tighter than before. You want to speak to test your voice, but no sound comes. Your mouth opens, only air. You close it again. What would you say, and to whom? Who here would answer? Even if they knew the name, even if they knew you. You pass a man kneeling beside his cart, mouth moving without sound. He could be praying, or reciting something, or simply mouthing words to remember. How it feels. You nod once as you pass. He doesn't see, or doesn't know who you are. You keep moving, back toward your task, back toward the lines and dust and heat. And for the first time, you understand something deep, something cold and slow. That it's not death you fear, it's being erased. Not forgotten, erased. Worn down until even your name loses its edge. Until the sound no longer stirs recognition in any ear. Not even your own. You glance toward your hidden jar. It's still there, but you don't touch it. Not yet, not for a name, because if you drink now, you'll waste it on some you knew, no longer remember how to be. So you keep walking, you keep lifting. And somewhere behind your ribs, a name echoes, fainter now, as if spoken through a wall. And you wonder if you'll ever hear a taggin. You're standing still, just for a moment, just long enough to rest the weight against your thigh. The sun burns, a circle across your shoulders, and your fingers twitch without command. The air smells like dust and nothing else. Your breath staggers in shallow waves, but you're still upright, still breathing, still waiting for the world to forget you or remember. That's when he speaks at guard, one of the silent ones. You've never heard his voice before. Until now, keep moving. 2 words, flat dot, without anger, without concern, without even turning his head. He's not looking at you. He doesn't need to. Your stillness was noticed, and that is enough. You nod. Not that he sees it, but something in you still wants to obey, still wants to be part of the line, still wants to matter, even if only as a shadow. You grip the rope again, your palms ache from the friction, blisters torn open again and again. But pain is simpler than thought, and thought is dangerous here. You lift the stone, drag it forward. Each step feels like walking through syrup, slow, heavy, endless. You pass a broken wheel, half buried in sand, the same wheel you've passed all day. You used to think of it as a marker, a place to measure how far you'd come. Now it's just a ghost. Like everything else, the guard walks parallel to you, his eyes on the horizon, his feet quiet in the sand. He doesn't speak again. He doesn't need to. The words echo long after. They're spoken, keep moving, keep carrying. Keep pretending that forward means anything at all. You shift the rope higher on your shoulder. The stone pulls. Sideways, you adjust again. The weight never distributes evenly. It wasn't made to dot. It's meant to break. You in pieces, small enough to carry. You reach the deposit point. Drop the stone. Your hands hover above it for a second too long. You think, maybe if you kneel now, they'll leave you. Maybe if you collapse gently, instead of falling, it'll seem like rest. But then a shadow passes behind you. You hear the shift of lever and that's all it takes. You lift another stone, before the idea of stopping takes root, before your mind grows brave. Enough to beg. The guard says nothing, but you know he sees. You know they all see every time someone hesitates, every time someone folds, every time someone tries to turn a breath into mercy. You carry, because carrying is the only answer to hunger, to pain, to being seen, to being ignored. You carry because standing empty-handed makes you too visible. You carry because if you stop, even for a moment, the desert might desert are no longer needed, and no one will argue when you're gone. You feel it when you kneel, a heat not from the sun above, but from the earth beneath, deep, ancient, alive in a way that frightens you. The ground scorches through the linen at your knees, through the cracked leather of your sandals, into the soles of your feet, as if the desert itself is feeding on your body's last coolness. It's not fire, it's not flame, it's something slower, heavier. Patient, you lower the stone onto the pile and stay there, crouched just a moment longer than you should. Your hands rest on your thighs. Your fingers twitch with the memory of movement, though your body screams for stillness. You glance to the left. A boy leans forward too far and topples, face first, into the sand. No one helps him. The heat will lift him, or it won't. Your hands press into the ground for balance, and there it is again. The burn, not sharp, just deep. It spreads across your palms. Up your arms you pull back, but too late, your skin stings, like it's been marked. You lift your hands to your face. Dust sticks to your sweatless fingers. Your own smell rises saltless, sun-bleached, almost sweet with decay. The wind doesn't move anymore. Even the air has stilled. You look toward the ridge. The guards shift slowly, wiping their necks. Taking turns at the shade, the workers are never allowed. You lower your gaze. The sand ripples in the light. It hums beneath your body like an animal breathing just under the surface. It's not just hot, it's pulsing. Your feet curl slightly inside your sandals. You shift your weight, but every step presses you deeper into something that wants to swallow you. You know what this heat is not. sun, not sky. It's the memory of every body that's knelt here before. Every collapsed worker, every lost name, every breath that never made it back to standing. You try to shake the thought, but it clings, it whispers, and your skin listens. You rise too fast, your vision swims. You catch yourself on the edge of the cart. The wood is cooler than the ground. Not cool, just less cruel. You cling to it a second longer than needed, then step away. Your legs ache like metal. Your bones rattle with dryness, but still you walk, because standing too long is noticed, because kneeling too long leaves your knees blistered, because the earth here doesn't forgive rest. It brands it, it remembers it, and it teaches your skin what it means to disobey. You don't smell them, you never do anymore. Your nose has long forgotten sweetness, but you see them clutched in a boy's hand, sticky and shriveled. He walks past you slowly, eyes scanning the line, like he's looking for someone specific. He holds out the bundle, wrapped in linen, browned from time and sweat. His fingers tremble slightly as he lifts the cloth toward you. You pause mid-step. He doesn't speak, just opens the linen enough for you to see what he's offering. 5 small dates, salted. Their skins wrinkled like fingers soaked in forgotten water. You haven't tasted fruit in days, maybe longer. You don't know the number anymore. You stare, not at the food. At him, his eyes don't shift. They don't ask, they don't plead. They wait. You know what he wants, trade. Not with words, with eyes. With silence, you reach slowly beneath your tunic. Your fingers find the edge of the cloth. The jar is still there, untouched since that one trembling sip. You press your palm against its side. Cool, still sealed, still yours, still sacred. Your thumb grazes the lip. You hesitate. The dates are nothing by themselves. Dry, withered, a sugar memory. But salted, they'll wake your tongue. They'll make the water mean something again. They'll bring contrast. Relief. You nod, once. Small, he doesn't smile. He steps forward, quietly, carefully. You hold out your palm. He places 2 of the dates in your hand, slow and reverent. His fingers brush yours, thin, cracked. Unsure, he watches you lower the fruit to your mouth. You bite one, soft sticky salt on your lips instantly. It stings the cracks. You close your eyes, and for a moment, your jaw works like it remembers. Celebration. You chew, slowly. You want to make it last, but the salt floods fast. Your mouth dries further. Your tongue pulses against your teeth. You reach beneath the cloth. Again, pull out the jar, just enough. Tilt it carefully, a single drop, enough to chase the salt back into silence. The taste is real, now, deep, heavy. It moves through you like a thread being pulled through dry cloth. You set the jar back beneath your tunic, hidden again, protected. The boy is already walking away. He doesn't look back. You don't thank him, there's no need. The trade is done. The moment lingers, to dates, 1 drop, and for a few seconds, your mouth forgets what it means to suffer. Your breath slows. Your hands loosen. You step back into the line, carrying a taste that almost feels like memory. Almost, but not quite. And that's enough for now. It happens without thinking. Your teeth press down, slow and careful, into the softest place your mouth remembers. Not out of hunger, not out of pain, out of instinct, out of the desperate need for something warm, something inside you, something real. The skin splits with barely any pressure. You feel it, the sting, the tear, then the taste, copper. Sharp, familiar dot. Your breath hitches, not from surprise, but from relief. The blood rises, thin and slow. It coats your tongue like syrup, mixed with sand. You let it sit there, let it spread. You close your eyes, let your mouth remember something wet, something alive. It's not water, it's not salvation, but it's yours, and no one can take it. The pain deepens as you keep biting. The wound widens. You press your tongue into it, feeling the throb beneath the surface. You swallow, it burns, but it's real. And in this place, realness is the last kind of mercy. You think about the jar again, hidden, waiting, but not yet, not while you can still make your own mouth bleed, not while there's something left inside. You walk forward, stone in hand. The blood slides from your lip down your chin. You don't wipe it, you don't hide it. Let them see, let the sun see, let the guards see. This is what endurance looks like now. You pass a man leaning against the wall. He stares at you, not your face, your mouth. You feel his hunger, not for food, for anything warm, anything liquid. But you offer nothing. You move on. The salt in your mouth stings. The crack in your lip pulses. But the blood stays fresh. You bite again, harder. Another wave. You cough. It fills the corners of your teeth, drips onto your tongue. You close your eyes as you walk, stone dragging behind you, body aching, skin dry, mouth alive with red warmth. You whisper a name, it doesn't sound like yours, but your tongue remembers how to move again. You reach the drop pile, let the stone fall, and you stay there for a moment, chewing nothing, swallowing your own survival. Because even if your name fades, even if your breath dries, even if your hands forget how to lift, you can still bleed, and that means you are still here. You hear him before you see him. Not loud, not sharp, just a quiet broken breath that catches in the throat. It rises like steam from behind a stack of unused baskets. A sound that barely exists, like someone trying not to be heard. But you hear it. You always hear it. Grief has a different shape in this place. It hides. It whispers. It survives only if it stays small. You round the corner. There he is. A boy, maybe 6, maybe 8. It's hard to tell. His bones are narrow, knees pulled up to his chest, arms wrapped around them. His chin rests on his forearm, and beside him, in the sand, a clay bowl, cracked, empty. He stares into it like it still holds something. Like if he looks long enough, it might remember how to be full. His lips are dry, crusted at the corners. His eyes don't blink, but tears line his cheeks in 2 perfect tracks, carving trails down the dust. You crouch, slow and silent, not to startle him, not to speak, just to be near. The bowl lies between you. You recognize it. Standard issue, fired once, glazed never. The kind given in the morning with 1 ladle of water, if you're lucky. Today, there was none. Today, he was given only the bowl. You reach into your tunic, fingers, brush the cloth. The jar's weight presses, back. You pause, you stare at him. He still hasn't looked at you. His gaze is lost inside the curve of the bowl. You remember that stare. You've worn it. You've seen others wear it just before their eyes close forever. You shift the jar out, just enough to feel the seal. Your hand trembles. You lift the lid just slightly. The air inside is cooler. He notices, finally. His eyes rise to meet yours. They don't widen. They don't shine. They just see . And that is enough. You reach forward, tilt the jar. One drop, it lands in the bowl. Barely a sound, barely a sound, barely a glimmer. But he sees it, he blinks, his shoulders tense, then fall. He leans forward, hands shaking, lifts the bowl to his lips, and drinks. The drop is gone in an instant, but he holds the bowl there, motionless, as if the water is still coming, as if it might multiply, as if his belief is enough. You lower your gaze, fold the jar back into the cloth. You stand, your knees crack, your back stings, but something in your chest feels less hollow. He doesn't thank you. You don't expect him to. He sets the bowl down gently, cradles it again. The tears don't stop, but they fall softer now, like the pain no longer surprises him. You walk away, one drop lighter, and for once, that feels like enough. It happens between two steps. One foot forward, the other dragging behind, and then silence. Not around you, inside you. The rhythm of breath, the ache in your knees, the weight on your back. All of it disappears for one flicker of time. You don't stop moving, but your mind does. It drifts. You're not in the quarry. Not anymore. You're somewhere cool, somewhere soft. A courtyard, a basin, stone wet with morning dew. You hear a woman laugh, not in cruelty, but joy. A boy runs past you, arms outstretched, chasing birds through fig trees. You follow him with your eyes. You feel your body rise from the bench you never sat on. The smell of baked bread drifts in from a window. You smile. You have lips again. You have eyes that aren't dry. You have a name, and someone calls it, clearly. Warmly you turn toward the sound, and then you're back. The rope in your hand jerks. The stone behind you catches on a ridge. You stumble, fall to one knee. The pain floods, your body in waves. A dry rasp escapes your throat. You cough. You're still here. Still in the heat. Still in the quarry. Still carrying. You blink. The dream doesn't vanish. All at once, it lingers in the curve of your fingers, in the tilt of your shoulders, in the echo of water that no longer exists. You push yourself up. The ground resists. But you rise anyway, because that's what you've trained your body to do. You step back into the line. You don't speak. No one does. But something behind. Your ribs feel softer now, like a curtain opened, like a window remembered. You dream again, not all at once. Just pieces, with every blink, every step. You see glimpses, a bowl of honeyed figs, a cloth soaked and wrung over your neck, a mother's voice in the distance, humming. You swallow. Your mouth still burns, but your heart slows, not with weakness, with rhythm. With memory, you don't know if the dream was real, if it belonged to you or to someone else. Long gone, but it visited, and now it lives in your bones. You carry the next stone. Not lighter, not easier, but different. Like you're not the only one holding it now. Like some part of that dream walks beside Ween. Silence. It appears in the distance. Quiet, sudden, shimmering. Not a vision, not a trick. You know illusions now. This is different. This is real. The curve of water snaking through reeds. The pale glint of sunlight skipping across the surface. The way the far trees lean inward like they've come to listen. It is the Nile. You know it. It is close. Closer than it's ever been. Closer than your breath. You drop the rope. The stone lands. Behind you with a dull thud. You take one step forward, and that's all you can do. Your knees lock. Your thighs tremble. Your feet won't lift again. They burn. From below, the heat soaked into your soles has turned to weight. Your legs anchor into the earth. You lean slightly. Your arms twitch, but nothing moves. You try again, harder. You lurch forward. Only inches. Your breath shortens. The water stays there still and blue and waiting. You see birds flutter just above the surface. Their wings spray droplets into the sky. You see ripples. You see life. You see everything that once lived inside you, and everything your body no longer believes in. Your mouth opens. You try to call to it, just a sound, just a whisper, but your throat closes. The words never come. Your eyes blur. You blink rapidly, forcing the image to stay. It doesn't fade, but it doesn't come closer either. You are stuck, held by the same gravity that kept you lifting stone after stone after stone. Your muscles seize. Your lips split. You swallow and taste iron again. Still, you stand there, watching, a statue of thirst. You wonder if the Nile can see you, if it knows how many hours you've survived. Without it, if it remembers your name, or if it's only for the temples now, for the pharaohs, for the priests with white cloth and clean mouths, not for the ones who bleed into sand and dream with their eyes open, not for the ones who can see it but not reach it. You feel your shoulders fall, your arms hang limp. You breathe once shallow, weak. The river dances in the distance, joyful, unaware. You want to scream, but your silence is louder so. You stay still and let your body root into the dust, and let the Nile remain where it is. Just beyond movement, just beyond mercy, just beyond you. You hear the splash before you see it. A sound so unnatural here, it might as well be thunder, wet, heavy. Honest, it cracks through the air like a forgotten song, and every head nearby turns, yours included. The dust stills. Even the wind holds its breath. He stands in the center of the quarry path. Not a guard, not a worker, a stranger, clothed to clean for labor, but not dressed in gold. He holds a clay jug, simple, unglazed, darkened from age, but sealed with wax. His fingers steady, his stance calm, as if he doesn't know what he's holding. Or worse, as if he does. And it means nothing. You watch him loosen the seal, tilt the jug forward, and pour not into a cup, not into a bowl, not even onto someone's hands, onto the earth, onto the cracked, colorless sand that has never tasted kindness. The water spills, freely, rushing over stone and dust and heat. A hush spreads. No one moves, not even the guards, because no one understands what this is. Mercy, madness, punishment. The water flows in a line, pooling briefly in a shallow dip before vanishing into the ground. You see it darken the sand. Just a shade, just long enough to prove it existed. Then gone, soaked, up like breath in silence. The stranger lowers the jug. He doesn't drink, he doesn't speak, he simply turns and walks away. The guards don't follow. The workers don't speak. You blink hard, trying to memorize the shape of that puddle before it disappears completely. A boy beside you drops his rope. The overseer raises his voice, but no one listens. Your knees start to bend, slowly, not from weakness, from reverence. You crouch where the water touched the ground, press your fingers to the wet sand. It's already drying, but it's real still cool, still alive for a few more seconds. You bring your fingers to your lips. Dirt, yes, but beneath it, a memory, a kindness, a curse. You look up again, but the man is gone. gone as if he never stood there at all. The jug, the sound, the water, all vanished. You stand slowly, the workers around. You begin to move again, reluctantly, uneasily, like waking from a dream they weren't ready to leave. You lift your next stone, your shoulders scream, but your fingers carry something else now. The dampness lingers, and in that moment, you understand, sometimes, the cruelest thing is not withholding water. It's showing you how easily it can be wasted. It stretches ahead of you now, long and wide, strange in shape. It clings to the sand like oil, darker than the heat should allow. You watch it move as you walk, dragging just out of step, a heavy silhouette that no longer follows, but leads. Your feet land where it falls. Your arms swing inside its outline, but it feels wrong. Too solid, too heavy, like it belongs to someone else. You pause, only for a moment, and it doesn't. Your shadow keeps. Walking then halts, as if waiting for your permission to return. The sun is low now, but not kind. The light has changed, not softer, just angled. It strikes from the side, catching the sharp bones of your face, casting your shape in deep, thick lines. You lift your hand, the shadow copies, but slower, heavier, like it resents you for making it move. You turn, just slightly. It warps with you, too. Tall to still. You step forward, it stretches, it groans in silence. You realize you're afraid of it. Not because it might leave, but because it might not. Because it might know what you've done to survive, and carry it. Every crack in your lip, every wound you didn't speak of, every time you turned your back on someone who fell, it remembers. It wears you, but thicker, more honest. You look around, everyone has one. Some barely visible, some dragging like cloth behind them. All of them distorted, all of them wrong. It's the hour when shadows become more real than flesh, when the body begins to fade before the light does. You bend over the sled, and yours bends. Deeper you stand, and it delays. You wipe your mouth, and it touches its chest. You walk on, and it follows, but not beside you, ahead. Like it knows something you don't. Like it's leading you somewhere you've already been. You glance once more at the ground. Your feet vanish into it. Your ankles absorbed the sand shifting beneath your heels. And you think maybe you've been walking inside your shadow this whole time. Maybe it's not following you, asterisk. Maybe it's carrying you. And maybe that's why you feel so heavy, Van, when you're not holding anything at all at first. The world is tilted, not sharply, just offsetting. The ground isn't beneath your feet anymore. It's beside your face, warm, coarse, humming. You blink. The sky stares back, pale and wide, a bowl of light turned upside down. Your arms are slack. Your chest rises, falls, rises again, but slower, shallower. You try to lift your head. Nothing moves. Not yet. You don't remember falling. There was no collapse, no cry, no sudden break. One moment you were walking, or were you? One moment you were lifting. Then the sun blinked, and now the earth holds you. You shift your eyes. A fly lands on your hand. You watch it crawl across your skin, like it owns you. Your fingers twitched at the fly stays. You feel the weight of dust gathering in your eyelashes. Grain by grain, you breathe in, and it scratches, like breathing through linen soaked in sand. You don't cough. That would take strength. You listen instead, to the footsteps, to the stone dragging, to the groan of wood on gravel. The world continues around you, without pause, without concern, without your name. A shadow moves over your chest. You brace for the whip, but no blow comes. just silence. Then the shadow passes. You try to speak. No words, just a cracked breath. It hurts to move your tongue. You close your eyes, then open them again, still here, still horizontal. The light pulses through your eyelids. Red, then white dot. You press your palm against the ground. Your arm trembles. The muscle has forgotten how to carry you. You're not panicking. There's no room for panic anymore. Only stillness. Only sand. You taste metal in your mouth again. Your lip has split wider. You forgot to stop biting it. Or maybe you needed something to feel. You try to remember what task you were on, what your last stone looked like, who you were following, but your thoughts are slow now, soft. You hear someone murmur nearby, a language you almost remember, or maybe a prayer you try to answer. Your mouth opens, dry air floods in. Your chest tightens. You try to close it again, but the motion comes late, too late. You stare at the sky again and wonder how long it's been. Minutes, hours, a lifetime. Someone steps near you. Their sandal kicks dust over your legs. They don't stop. They don't look. And you realize you must look like sleep now, like rest, like the end everyone expects. You blink, one tear rises. Not from sorrow. From dust it slides down your cheek. And you don't wipe it. Because maybe this is rest. Maybe this is what comes after carrying. Not death, not escape. Just down, still gone. And you don't remember choosing it. You don't hear them approach. No footsteps, no whisper. Just the shift of shadow across your face. Softer this time. Cooler. You blink once. Twice. The sky blurs. The white becomes gold, then grey. You try to lift your head, but your body doesn't answer. Your limbs lie like stone, unmoving, uncaring. Then, attached fingertips, calloused, warm, real. They rest on your forehead. For a moment, as if checking, as if asking. You don't pull away, can single quotes, to one, single quotes, to you. Feel the hand slide slowly down your face, knuckles brushing your temple, thumb at your brow, and then, softly, they close your eyes. Not with force, with permission, like tucking a child beneath a blanket, like folding cloth over something. Sacred darkness fills your vision, but it's not empty, it's thick, weighted, comforting, like the inside of a familiar room. You listen, breath, shallow, yours, theirs. You can't tell, the hand lingers a second. Longer, then lifts. You wait for pain, for the overseer's voice, for the lash dot, for the order to rise, but none comes. Only stillness. You hear a rustle of linen, the crunch of feet stepping back. Then nothing. They've gone. But the imprint remains. Not just on your skin, inside AA. Quiet, left by mercy. A small grace, not grand, not loud. Just a human hand succincto. Close your eyes instead of turn away. You lie there, not dreaming, not hoping, just letting the dark hold. Yofer a little longer. Because in a place where thirst defines everything, sometimes the gentlest things, not water, but touch. And for a moment, you are not a laborer, not a number, not a body. You are someone Yuho was seen and honored, without a word, without a name. Just a hand, and the silence that made it sacred. It sits by the stone pile, half buried in sand, tilted on its side, like it fell long ago, and no one bothered to lift it. You pass it often. Maybe once it was yours. Maybe someone else left it behind in a moment of collapse. Either way, it remains. Unclaimed, unfilled, unmoving. The crack runs along its rim, a thin, jagged line, splitting it nearly in two. You crouch beside it now, not to drink, just to look. The sun leans low, casting long shadows across the ridge. The cup catches a sliver of that gold light, glowing faintly in the dirt. But inside, nothing, not a drop, not a trace. The curve of the bowl is dry, lined with dust that clings like ash. You lift it gently. It weighs nothing, a ghost of what it once held. You turn it in your hands, fingers tracing the ridge where the clay split, where heat or time or thirst proved stronger than its shape. You press your thumb into the bottom. There's a small indentation there, a maker's mark, or just the shape of someone's hand from when it was still soft, still wet. You don't know why it matters, but it does. You set it upright again, in the sand, where it sits straight for the first time in days, maybe longer. You stare at it and imagine water poured in, rising slowly, filling the cup, spilling over the lip, catching light, catching sound, becoming more than water, becoming memory. But there's no jug, no mercy, no one to fill it. The wind picks up, it stirs a line of dust across the surface. The cup trembles, but it does not tip. You reach into your tunic. Your fingers close around the hidden jar dot. Your breath tightens. You lift it, just slightly. Unseal the lid. A sigh of coolness touches your thumb. You glance at the cup, then at the jar, then back again. A choice, not between you and them, between hope and silence, between sacrifice and survival. Your hand lowers. You do not pour. Not today, not yet. The jar returns to your side. The cup remains, still cracked, still empty, but now upright, now waiting. You stand, your knees creak. The sun kisses the edge of the quarry. The light softens, and still, the cup does not beg. It does not cry, it simply waits. And you walk away, carrying silence, carrying thirst, carrying the knowledge that the hardest part is not when the cup breaks, but when it doesn't, and still no one fills it. It starts as a whisper, a soft tapping in the distance, like fingertips against stone. You pause, listen. It continues, a rhythm too fragile for footsteps, too scattered for voices. You turn your head toward the sound, and for a breathless moment, you believe. Rain dot, you close your eyes, try to remember it. Cool, drops landing on your shoulders, sliding down your neck, soaking into dry cloth, darkening it like ink. You imagine the smell, earth turning soft, air blooming with sweetness, the sky opening just wide enough to forgive you. You open your eyes, nothing, just wind. It slips through the stones, through the bones of unfinished walls, through the hollow spaces of your ribs. The tapping continues, loose grains of sand clicking across flat rock, fragments of dust falling from ledges. Above, the quarry breathing in reverse. You almost laugh, but your throat is too dry. You swallow instead. Nothing. There either, just the scrape of tongue against teeth. You stare upward. The sky is pale, no clouds, no promise, just endless brightness, turning slowly into evening, but still. The sound persists, faint, cruel, beautiful. It follows you as you walk. Each footfall syncs with it, like a song no one else hears. You pass a pile of discarded cloth, shaped like a sleeping man. He doesn't move. You don't stop. The wind grows stronger. It wraps around your ankles, lifting dust like smoke. The sound shifts closer now, like water dripping through a broken roof. You glance at the sky again, still, dry. You know it's not rain, but your body believes it anyway. Your skin lifts in goose flesh. Your shoulders brace for cold. Your lips part. Waiting, but nothing falls. You slow your steps. Let the wind pass through. You let the lie stay a little longer, because sometimes, when you haven't felt softness in weeks, even the sound of something fat might have been enough to keep walking. Even when your hands are empty, even when your jar is nearly dry, even when the wind sings of rain. But often and lightest, you don't know when you fell asleep. Not truly. One moment you were sitting, head heavy, eyes chasing the sound of phantom rain. The next, the world has changed. It's darker now, quieter, still warm, but not blinding. The sun has lowered behind the stone ridge. Shadows stretch longer than bodies, and your jaw aches. You open your mouth slowly. Sand falls from your tongue. Grains loosen from between your teeth. Gritty and sharp. Your gums sting. You cough, soft at first, then harder, and the sound scrapes your throat raw. You sit up, lips peeling apart, the inside of your mouth dry as pottery leapt in the kill too long. You blink, trying to remember where you are. But there's no difference between the ground you sleep on and the place you work. You taste iron again. You always do. Now you spit, a single drop of red into the dust. It vanishes instantly, as if the ground itself is thirsty for even that. Your hands are curled, fingers locked into fists. You try to open them. It takes time. Your nails are caked with dirt. Your wrists ache from the angle they rested in. You must have leaned against stone, or rope, or yourself. No one woke you. That's the first gift no one took from you while you were gone. That's the second. You glance around. A few bodies still move in the distance, dragging stones back to the stack. But it's quieter now. The overseers have stepped into the shade. Even they are tired. You reach for your side. The jar is still there. Warm now, but still sealed, still sacred. You don't open it. Not yet. You want to savor the choice. You rise to your feet. Your legs shake. Your neck throbs. A dull pain in your lower back pulses with each breath. But you're upright, alive. You breathe in, and the air tastes like dust and copper and heat. You swallow again. More. Sand. You press your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Rough. You wonder how much of you is still flesh, and how much has become earth. You take a step. The world shifts. You steady yourself against a stone block. Cold against your fingers. It feels like water would. If you could remember it, if your skin could still tell the difference. The wind picks up again, carries the faint sound of someone singing or moaning, or praying. You can't tell, but it comforts you, because it means someone else is awake. Someone else is carrying this with you. Even if they don't know your name, even if you forget your own, you wipe your mouth with the back of your hand. Leave a smear of blood. You don't flinch. You move forward, sand in your teeth, pain in your knees. The jar still full, your body still here. And for now, that is enough. You hear it first, the slosh of liquid against clay. Then the laugh, harsh, loud, full of teeth. A sound too fat for this place, too alive. You turn toward it. Slowly, carefully. You know better than to look fast. The sun's nearly gone now. The stones glow red. The shadows crawl. But the sound cuts through everything. That laugh, and then the splash. He stands near the edge of the loading pit. a jug in one hand, its neck tilted, clear. Water arcs into the dust at his feet. He doesn't sip, doesn't offer, just pours, and laughs again. His armor clinks as he shifts his weight. The other guards nearby don't stop him. They don't speak. They just watch. One smiles, another spits. You stay frozen, a few paces away, close enough to see the shine of the water as it hits the earth, close enough to see it vanish, drop after drop. Each one could have been life, could have been a memory, could have been a memory, could have been mercy. Instead, it becomes mud. Briefly, then dries. Gone. Gone. He wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. Though he didn't drink, just the idea of water makes him lick his lips. He lifts the jug again, tilts it farther. The last of it falls, a line of wet across your vision. You don't blink, you just stare. Your tongue curls against your teeth, your fingers tighten at your side. You imagine reaching for your own jar, lifting it in silence, walking forward, meeting his eyes, and without a word, pouring it, too, onto the dirt. Not for him, not for mockery, but as a warning, as a mirror. But you don't move, because you know better. Because here, silence is survival. You watch the guard throw the jug to the ground. It doesn't break, just rolls. He walks away, his laughter fading behind him. The jug lies near your feet. Now you crouch, pick it up. It's warm, empty. You tilt it anyway, just in case. One drop remains. It slips onto your hand. Cool. A surprise. You stare at it, glistening on your skin. It runs down your wrist. You don't drink it. You let it fall into the dirt, where the rest went, where you belong. And still, your silence feels louder than his laugh. You open your mouth, and nothing comes. No breath, no sound. Just a dry hollow where your voice used to live. You hadn't noticed until now. It's been days, maybe longer, since you last spoke. Since your lips shaped a word meant for someone else. You try again. Nothing, not even a whisper. Your throat is tight. Not with pain, with absence. You've carried stone, lifted ropes, chewed your own mouth raw. But your voice, it slipped away quietly. Not stolen, not broken, just unused. Forgotten like a name in the dark. You touch your throat, fingers press gently against the ridges. Still warm, still moving, but silent. You try to remember what your voice sounded like. Was it high, rough? Did it tremble when you asked for things? Did it break when you begged? You can't recall. All you hear now is wind, the scrape of sandals, the groan of wood, and underneath it all, the beat of your own heart. Slow and stubborn, you look at the others. Some hum under their breath, some mutter, some cry softly into their arms. When no one's watching, they still have sound. You envy them, you fear them, you admire them because you've forgotten what your own voice tastes like, what it feels like to say something and mean it, to speak into the air, and expect it to carry. To believe someone might listen. You kneel near the edge of the quarry wall, your shadow long and misshapen beside you. You open your mouth again, try one word, any word, your name, a prayer, the shape of water, but your tongue won't move, the breath won't come. You stay there, mouth open. Silent, the wind fills it for you, blowing through like a cave, long emptied. You close your lips and feel the weight return, the stillness, the quiet. You think, maybe this is the final thirst, not of body, not of tongue, but of voice, of being heard, of being real. You stand again, quiet as ash. You lift your rope, drag your burden, and carry it not just in your arms, but in your throat. Because silence, here, is heavier than any stone. You feel it before you see it. The way it sags against your side, lighter than it used to be. Too light. The weight that once reassured you, that once told you you were still alive, it's fading. You reach beneath your tunic, fingers brushing the cloth. The jar presses against your palm, familiar, warm. You lift it, it barely resists. You unseal the lid. The sound is faint. Now no hiss of coolness, no sigh of trapped air, just silence. You tilt it gently. 1 drop, 2, then nothing. You shake it softly, not in desperation, in disbelief. The last of it clings to the walls inside, slow and stubborn, like a memory that refuses to let go. You run your thumb along the rim, smooth, worn, carved, by the same hand that once gave it to you. You remember that moment, not the face, just the feel, the press of clay into your palms, the weight of it, the promise that you'd be able to choose. Who drinks, who lives, what mercy looks like now. There's almost nothing left to give. You glance around. The sun is low again. The stones cast long shadows. The men and women around. You move slower now, shoulders slumped, eyes blank. The silence stretches between you all, wide, endless, like a wound. You hold the jar to your lips, not to drink, just to feel the rim, cool against cracked skin. You tip it. 1 drop lands on your tongue. It tastes like dust, like clay, like memory. You swallow it, not for survival, for closure, for ritual, for thanks. You press the lid back on, gently. You tie the cloth, not to hide it, to honor it. The jar gave all it could. You gave all you could. You look down at your hands, there, trembling, not from thirst, from weightlessness, from the realization that you've reached the edge. You sit down beside the nearest stone. The ground is still hot, your muscles still ache, but your heart is calm because you carried it this far. You made it last, and in this place, where nothing lasts, that is everything, the jar is almost empty, but you are not. Not yet. It doesn't look like much. Just dust, shifting, endless. But when you stop walking, when you stand still long enough, you see it. The path, not drawn, not marked, but imprinted. The press of your heel from morning, the drag of your toes from noon, the deep, wide groove where you stumbled just before dusk. The sand doesn't forget. Every step you took today lives there, faint, crooked, honest. You lower yourself. Slowly, your knees sigh. You press your palm to the earth. It gives slightly, just enough to accept you. Just enough to say, yes, you were here. You breathe through your nose. The scent is warm, dry, familiar. Your sweat has become part of this place. Your skin tastes like it. You trace one of the lines you made earlier. It curves left, then doubles back. You remember that moment. You'd lost your rhythm, felt your legs folding, and somehow you kept going. You dig your fingers into the dirt beside it. Feel the grit under your nails. You wonder how many others have passed this way. How many bare feet have vanished into this same ground. How many names are buried here, unspoken, unwritten, but known by the dust. Because the sand remembers not the stories, not the voices, but the pressure of presence, the weight of survival. It records the language of suffering in silence. And if you listen, truly listen, you can almost hear them. The thousands who came before, the ones who didn't make it, the ones who did, there, paths brushing yours, interwoven, forgotten, never erased. You look behind you, asterisk, your footprints grow dim in the falling light. Already, the wind begins to blur them, but not fully, not yet. A single track remains, a crooked step, a toe print, enough to prove that you lived through this day, that your feet carried you when your heart almost didn't, that you pressed on, again and again, without promise, without rescue, without water. Just the will to leave a mark. And now, the sand knows you, not your name, not your voice, but your shape, your weight, your ache. You close your eyes, let your body rest against the earth. And in that silence, with no witness but the wind, you whisper to the sand, "Thank you for remembering." The air is cooler now, not cold, just still. The kind of stillness that doesn't threaten, that doesn't watch, that doesn't whisper behind your back. For once, no eyes are on you. No orders shout your name. No shadow creeps close. You're not being seen. You're not being judged. You're just here. And for the first time in many nights, you lie down, Beckers. You choose to, not because you collapse, not because your knees gave in, not because the stone dragged you down. You lower yourself gently, control each movement. The dust rises soft around your limbs. The earth welcomes your shape. Like an old friend, you settle into the groove your own body has carved over days of resting here. The same curve of shoulder to stone, the same fold of hip into sand. But tonight, it feels different. It feels safe. Not safe like home, not safe like warmth, safe like stillness, safe like silence, safe like nothing more will be asked of Yofa. A little while, you fold your arms beneath your head. Your breath comes slow. No tremble in your chest, no tightness in your throat. You blink once, the stars are beginning to arrive. One, then two, many to count. You let your gaze soften. You don't try to name them. You don't need their stories. You only need their presence. Proof that the sky still exists. That not everything above you is sun and punishment. Some of it, even now, is light, gentle, distant, patient, you. Shift once, adjust your shoulder. The stone beneath you doesn't fight back. You exhale again. Longer this time, your fingers curl inward, not from pain, but from rest. The last sounds of the quarry fade, a cough, a footstep, then wind, then stillness. You let your mouth fall open, not from thirst, from ease. You feel your ribs rise, fall, rise again. This, too, is a miracle, and you let it be enough. You don't reach for the jar. You don't check the sky for clouds. You don't think about tomorrow's stones. You just lie here, quiet, dry, empty, but not afraid, because tonight, finally, you are Alouetto rest. It starts at your ankles. A slow sweep, barely there, like a ripple brushing across your skin. You don't flinch. You don't lift your head. You let it come. The wind moves gently, as if it knows you've earned softness, as if it understands your body has had enough of sharpness, of stone, of weight. It slides up your legs, circles your hips, dips into the hollow of your side where your breath gathers, and keeps moving upward across your ribs, over your chest. It's not cold, it's not warm, it's something else entirely. A touch without fingers, a caress without need, like water without wetness. You close your eyes, let it pass, let it feel you, let it memorize the shape of you. Not the worker, not the body bent under burden, but the person underneath, the one who still dreams, the one who still remembers the taste of figs, The sound of your mother's song, the feel of river stones underfoot. The wind reaches your throat. You swallow gently. It doesn't leave. It lingers there, curious, searching, then moves again, up your jaw, into your hair, across your forehead, and finally gone, drifting out behind you, into the stars. You feel your body settle deeper. The dust shifts slightly beneath your back. The sand doesn't resist. It cradles. It molds you. Become part of it, breathing with it. You imagine the wind carrying stories from worker to worker, from camp to temple, from desert to shore. You wonder if it carries your name, if it knows what you've done to survive, if it whispers you into someone else's ear as they lie down to, thinking they are alone. You feel it return, only briefly. One last pass over your bare feet, a farewell, and then stillness. Not silence, stillness, the kind that means you are not being pulled anymore. You are not being demanded. You are not being watched. You are simply here, present, 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 in a body that still aches, present in a night that no longer bites, present in air that final almost, like mercy it comes without warning. No signal, no edge, just a shift. The sound of wind becomes water. The weight of your body fades. You are floating, not on stone, not on dust, on something cool, smooth, moving beneath you like breath. The Nile. You know it instantly, not by sight, not by smell, by the feeling of home, of before, of when your name meant more than a number on a roster. You lie on your back, drifting. The current is gentle, it carries without pulling. You stretch your fingers into the surface. They glide the water parts for you, welcomes. You loves you, your skin remembers how to feel here. The cuts are gone, the dirt is gone. You are clean, you are whole, you float. Past reeds, soft green things swaying in rhythm. Birds call above, but not in alarm. Their wings don't beat like warnings. They dance, they belong. You tilt your head to the side. The sky is pink. The sun is low, and no one is shouting. No one is dying. You see children on the shore. They wave, you wave back. A woman dips a basket into the river. You smell lentils, crushed mint. The smoke of early fire, it fills your lungs. Not dust, not pain, food, life. You begin to cry, but only inside, not out of sorrow, out of remembering, out of gratitude, because you had forgotten this, forgotten the softness of your own soul, forgotten how light you used to be. You pass under a low branch. It brushes your forehead like a mother's hand, and you think, maybe this is not a dream, maybe this is a gift, maybe this is the Nile. Inside you, all this time, flowing beneath the weight, waiting for the silence, waiting for the night, waiting for the stillness, deep in. Let you return. You float farther. You do not reach for the shore. You do not open your eyes. You'd stay right there, in the river, in the memory, in the miracle, because for once, there is no thirst, only water, only breath, only rest. The sun returns without apology. It rises not with celebration, but with duty. A pale gold rim over stone and dust. It spills across your body, warming your face before your eyes open. You inhale slowly. The air is dry, still quiet, still thick with silence, but different now, softer around the edges, less like punishment, more like promise. You don't move, yet your hands rest on your chest, light, loose, not clenched, not curled around rope or stone, or the neck of your jar. You lift one gently, stare at the fingers. They aren't shaking, they aren't bleeding. They're just there, empty. You turn your head, the jar lies beside you, tied shut, pressed into the sand like it slept too. You untie it slowly, unwrap the cloth, lift it, and shake nothing. No sound, no drop, not even the echo of moisture. It is dry, utterly, finally, and somehow. You don't feel fear. You hold it in both hands. The clay is warm from the night. You look into its hollow belly. You could cry, you could scream, but instead you smile. A small one, tired, true. Because for the first time in days, your hands are free. Not carrying, not choosing, not rationing, salvation, not deciding who lives or dies. They're just hands, yours, and they are empty but not useless. They can hold bread again, touch water without trembling, rest on the shoulder of someone who needs it, or lift someone too weak to stand. Not because you owe, but because you can. You rise slowly, not rushed, not forced. You brush the dust from your knees, shake the sand from your sleeves. You set the jar down carefully, near a pile of stone. You don't hide it, you don't mark it, you just leave it, because someone else might need to know it once carried mercy, and that mercy was not in the water, but in the choice to give. You walk toward the morning, sunlight painting your face, hands swinging softly at your sides, light, honest, empty, empty, and finally at peace.